And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. I'm back, Lonzo. I'm feeling good today. We're back in the zone, baby. Hey! What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Good to have you. How's everything? My name is Rob Brown. On the other side of the metaphorical glass, he is the alpha and the omega of the Fan Upstate. The Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave, the Content Cash Cow, hashtag Dad Kicks, Colonel Grudge, the great one himself, Lonzo. That was a lot of button pushing and slider mashing. Did I break it already?
It just doesn't sound right to me.
Well, you were used to this yesterday, and I'm like back-ish today.
No. It's the microphone sound. I don't know. We'll see.
I didn't touch anything.
We'll see as we progress. There's just a weird thing in my headphones. It could be my headphones.
I'm being asked, am I in a can again? Oh, got it. That's what it is. Fixed. Corrected.
He's in a big old can of tomatoes.
Yo, listen. What a Thursday. Got a busy day lined up today. I am pretty sure that we are going to spend 3 hours talking about logos and team colors. You know, it seems like the right thing to do today. It's the hot topic. It's the hot hand. It's what the people want. That's not true. Coming up in about half an hour, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast is going to join us here on the show because Carolina football has been interesting lately. So we'll talk to Rashad about that. Then,
hey, we get to talk to Rashad after a victory.
Yeah, it's happened
this season twice.
One other time.
Yeah, this will be the second time.
One other time it's happened. We'll talk to Rashad coming up at 9:35ish, and then at 10 o'clock, Emily Adams of the Greenville News is going to join us. We get to talk to Emily after a win as well. Good weekend in Palmetto State football last weekend. Clemson, of course, off this weekend. November 5th, they get back on the field on the road in South Bend when they take on Notre Dame. But the Gamecocks got the win over A&M. The Tigers got the win over the Cuse, and the Panthers got the win over the Tom Brady's. Great weekend in Palmetto State football last week, and we're going to continue to break it down. But it's Thursday, and you know what that means. Time to turn our eyes towards the weekend upcoming, ladies and gentlemen. Time to start looking at our sports weekend just around the corner, including, as Tracy just popped in to our live chat at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, or by searching and subscribing on Twitch and YouTube to the Rob Brown Show. And starting in like an hour and 32 minutes, it'll be up on the on the Fan Upstate YouTube page as well. We got a YouTube page we're about to pop up, and we're going to be doing a lot of work on that because digital is the future, baby. So stay tuned for that. I do not know if we'll be able to get it up on the YouTube page by the end of this show, but starting tomorrow, I love you tomorrow, you're only a day away, the Fan Upstate YouTube page will go live.
I just had to look up how to spell oos. I feel so ashamed.
Sorry. It's a weird one.
The only way I could think of to find it was to put in Sami Zayn honorary, and then oos showed up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Tracy in the chat saying Phillies in 6. We got Skrilla showing up saying, morning, boyos. Welcome to Thursday. Philly in 7. It's going the distance. This is really interesting because the Astros were the most consistent baseball team start to finish in the entire major leagues. They were the most consistent baseball team. There really wasn't a stretch where the Astros were bad. There was a stretch where the Dodgers were pumping the brakes. Obviously, the Braves were the streakiest team in all of baseball. There was a stretch where most of the season, the Phillies were kind of playing catch up. That's why they were a wild card team. The Astros were the most consistent team in Major League Baseball start to finish, but The Phillies came into the playoffs as the hot hand. If you were asking me to compare the 2022 Phillies to a previous World Series champion, the answer would be the 2021 Atlanta Braves. A team that was inconsistent, a team that dug themselves a hole that they had to crawl out of, but a team that absolutely hit the hot hand at exactly the right time coming into the playoffs. It's why I've said the wild card format and the divisional round format, the way that it is set up right now, I think benefits the wild card teams, right? It gives them that game or that series to maintain their rhythm, to maintain their consistency, to maintain what they did, especially for a team that punches its card in the last couple of days of the season, like the Phillies did. So while the Braves went home and took 6 days off or 7 days off or whatever it was, right? It'll take you out of your rhythm. It'll throw off your timing. It'll kill off your consistency. Whereas the Phillies just hit their stride. Now, it does kind of hamper you, as we talked a little bit about, when you got to change up your pitching, when you got to change up your rotation, when you got to change up the order of operations, if you will. If the PEMDAS of your team gets screwed up. Anybody get that reference? Remember that one? Anyway, if the order of operations of your team gets screwed up and it throws off your rhythm, it throws off your mentality, it can change a lot about your team, yeah? It can change a lot about your team. And I think ultimately that is what happened to Atlanta, and Philly avoided it. Philly avoided it. Now keep in mind, this is very similar to what happened last year with the Astros. The Astros were the best team all season long. The Astros made a push all season long. The Astros got into the playoffs as one of the best teams in baseball. The Astros came up against an NL East wildcard team that found their stride, that got the hot hand in the playoffs. They went to the World Series, and they beat the Houston Astros. It is the exact same setup that the Phillies are bringing into this World Series against Houston. The difference being, that while the Astros were the best team and the most consistent team in baseball from start to finish, they were also a hot hand coming into and going through the playoffs. This is a team that just swept the New York Yankees. This is a team that just beat the Yankees so badly that despite a 99-game win season, despite having a player set the record for single-season home runs in the American League, and if you don't count the juicers, all-time Major League Baseball, despite having all of those things, the Astros beat the Yankees so bad that Yankees fans are en masse calling for the relief of their general manager and their head coach. You know what this is the equivalent of? This is the equivalent of a team making it to the college football playoffs, having a 12-0 season, winning a conference title, getting to the NCAA football playoffs, and losing in the first round, and then having the fans start a rally to get that head coach out. You'd be like, wait, what? What? Do you know how many programs would love to have a conference championship and a college football playoff appearance, even if they couldn't get a win? Most of them, right? Most of them. And that's just kind of the spot that the that the Yankees have found themselves in right now. The Astros beat them that badly, right? So as much as we talk about Philly having the hot hand coming into the playoffs, and that is correct, they do, right? They swept the Redbirds in round one, despite that series taking place in St. Louis. Then they had a road series against your reigning, defending, undisputed World Series champions and they beat the brakes off of Atlanta. Then they go to the NLCS against the Padres team that just wiped out the 100-plus win Dodgers and smoked them too, right? There's not a lot of aspects of Philly's game that aren't working right now. The only concern that I have about Philly in this particular moment as we get set for World Series game number 1 tomorrow is that their relief pitching isn't great, right? Their bullpen's okay. And that's really it. It's okay. And not much else. It's the only concern I've got. But it is a big concern against a Houston team who was mashing the baseball in the ALDS, who was mashing the baseball in the ALCS. The best hope for Philly is that with a week and a couple of days long break from the end of the sweep of the Yankees until the beginning of the World Series tomorrow, that maybe, just maybe, the Jets cool off a touch, that the bats cool off a touch for Houston. And I'm going to be real, I wouldn't bank on it because there really wasn't a point this season that happened. There was not a point this season where the Astros weren't the most consistent team in all of baseball. I am leaning Houston right now. I'll make the official pick tomorrow on the show. But I am leaning Houston right now. Not because the Phillies aren't hot. They are. And impressively so, right? But the Houston Astros have been hot all year. Philly caught a hot streak coming into the playoffs. They took 2 of 3 from St. Louis. They took 4 of 5 against Atlanta. Hell, the only game they lost against Atlanta was the game that got thrown off because of the rain. Remember, that was supposed to be a day game. It rained in the ATL. They pushed it back to a night start. Atlanta was well lubricated in the stands at that point. Truist was absolutely rocking. It's the only game they dropped, and it took a pretty damn spectacular performance to make that happen. So I know Philly's the hot team. You're not shocking anybody to say that. But the Astros are easily the most consistent team start to finish. And which of those two teams are you going to lean into? Are you going to lean on when they're coming off of a break of almost a week? I'm going to go with the team that had no problem being consistent from opening day to the closing bell on the regular season. And that's the Houston Astros. Philly's probably got better pitching off the bump. The Astros have a better back end. The Phillies on paper should have a better lineup. But Altuve and Jordan and all these guys have been mashing since playoff game number 1 in the ALDS for the Astros. Right? Go back to that series against Seattle in the ALDS. It just felt from the moment that Alvarez knocked off that dinger in game number 1 when the Astros found themselves in, what was it, a 7-run hole in game number 1, and everybody's like, uh-oh, Seattle's got him, right? The Astros finally slowed up a little bit. And then Jordan Alvarez sains a game winner on a trajectory to intercept the ISS. And then Houston sweeps a very good, very young, very energetic Seattle team, and then turns around and, like I said, beats the brakes off of a 100-plus win Yankees team. The Houston Astros are, as of right now, undefeated in the playoffs, y'all. The Astros are 7-0 in playoff baseball. In the regular season, if a team was on a 7-game win streak, we'd be talking about it. The Astros are on a 7-game win streak in the playoffs. they sweep Philly, they would become, and they won't, but if they sweep Philly, they would become the first and only team in Major League Baseball playoff history to be undefeated in the playoffs. That is freaking impressive. Freaking impressive. Philly mashes too, right? The middle of that Philly lineup is as good as anybody's in baseball, Dodgers included. But they had their dry spells this year. The Astros haven't. That's the difference to me. But we'll break this World Series down in even more depth tomorrow on the show. May even have a pro baseball writer joining us on the show to break it down. Trying to get Cody Decker up in here as well. I'll let you know. But we got to run to a break. Coming up on the show today, I'm going to do everything in my power to avoid talking about logos and colors. I had enough. All right? I had enough. It's probably not going to work. It's probably going to get brought up. Hell, probably by me. But it is what it is. 9:35, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joins us. 10 o'clock, Emily Adams of the Greenville News joins us. The rest of the show is for you. 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFO, 844-326-3663. You can also text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them on the air. Rob and Lonzo and you on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Turns out maybe my voice is not quite as back as I thought it was.
Yeah, you shouldn't have did that.
It's all right. I'll rest when I'm dead.
Friday, sunshine, high 65 degrees. Saturday, partly sunny and a high 64. Sunday, a chance for rain showers here, cloudy and a high 62.
I yesterday went all the way to Greer just to get cherry vanilla water.
Dude, I told you where it is.
I know, that's where I went. I went to Greer.
No. Simpsonville.
Simpsonville's further than Greer for me.
Is it?
Yeah. I got to drive through Greer to get to Simpsonville, or I got to go around it on the interstate. It's about a 35-minute drive to Simpsonville for me. It's about a 17-minute drive to Greer.
Okay.
Which is too bad. I like Simpsonville. Simpsonville's a cool little spot.
I wonder if you can order it.
Can't. Tried. I tried to order it on their website, and the best they could do is deliver it to a store, but not the one that's by my house. I still would have had to have it delivered to Greer. So I'm like, well, I'll just go. But they don't have grape. Grape? Let's grow it on.
I don't think I've ever had grape. We got white grape, but not grape. Rob and I enjoy the Walmart water. I don't know if it's actually Walmart water, but it's flavored water. It's really good. But cherry vanilla right now is both of our favorites, which is rare because we usually differ on the flavors. I know this is real riveting, but he can't find his favorite flavor, and I find it every week. You know, he could like give me money and I could deliver it to him. I could do that.
I just never think about it.
I've actually brought him, some cherry vanilla before.
Sure, and it's delightful.
I love it, but it still hasn't beat out peach for me. Peach is still my favorite.
Peach, and then you pour that into lemonade. It makes you a sparkling peach lemonade. Phenomenal.
And yes, I am so organized that on the island in my kitchen, I have all my waters put, in order. So I know which ones I'm taking because I bring 3 to work every day. Starting with a peach, usually with a cherry vanilla second, maybe some apple, maybe some light grape. Because if you're very organized, then it could be chaotic everywhere else.
I am chaotic everywhere, as is evident by my desk.
Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you.
Okay, this does exactly what I thought it would do with the beard grown out. I don't know if I like it or not.
What makes you look like Hulk Hogan?
No, I was thinking Fat Boy, but you know, it was Sam Kinison, but with the beard grown out, that's
Sam Kinison was great.
it. Just I don't look like Sam Kinison right now. Cannot wait to shave most of this off. Yeah, 2 more days. I will tell you.
You have a shaving schedule?
No, I'm growing this out for Halloween.
Ah, I got you.
And even though you and I are dressing on Monday, the beard will not make it to Monday. There will be things in the beard Saturday. You'll just have to tune in to the Upstate Pulse to see what it is exactly.
Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Again, I will tell you, I will not be a pirate. There might be a pirate on the show. It will not be me. But I can emphatically say, no, I will not be a pirate. I will not be a pirate. Not that there's anything wrong with being a pirate. I'm just not going to be one. But you won't be able to guess what I'm going to be. So that's fine. But you'll find out Monday. You won't see it Saturday, but you'll find out Monday.
Character from a video game I have not played or a movie I haven't seen.
I will say that you nailed it in one sense, except for the fact the thing that you hadn't done it before.
Oh, it's something I haven't done, but not one of those.
No, it's something you have done before.
Ah.
Yeah. As in played. It's not the first time I've confused you today.
I'm confused most of the time.
Yeah, well,
This is part of the Rob Brown experience.
I'm good at it.
Part of the Rob Brown experience is just living confused, people. Welcome back. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob. He's the great one, Lonzo. 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE. 844-326-3663 is the number to be a part of the show. All right, I'm going to do it. I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to do it.
You just want people to point it out. So now you just, okay. All right, go ahead. Do it.
The logo's fine. Okay? It's fine. And it doesn't matter. First off, it's not the same as USC West Coast. It's not. It's a different logo. It's a different font. It's a different script.
Wait, you're not going to go,
look.
If you take this logo to anyone in 49 other states. Okay.
I don't care.
All right.
If you walk into
That
the
is
street,
kind of a tired way to do things.
if you walk into the street and you ask those same 100 people, hey, name a Robert, you're going to get De Niro. You're going to get Downey Jr. You're going to get Pattinson. You're going to get a bunch of them.
No, around here, you're going to get a totally different Robert that you didn't mention.
Which one?
E.
Oh, gotcha.
Lee.
All right, you'll get that one. You'll get a bunch of famous Roberts. You might get, actually, no, the only one that you'd ask where you'll get a Robert Brown would be me. That'd be it.
I just don't see anyone going, Robert. Yeah, Robert Pattinson. Yeah, I just don't. Well, although Batman.
Yes,
okay, the
that's what I'm
Batman.
saying.
Okay.
So the point here, though, is that it is irrelevant what anybody else thinks. The only thing that matters is you, right? I don't, if you ask 50 people to name a famous Robert and none name me, I'm not going to walk in here and be like, mine. I should change my name. I should spell it a completely different way and change it entirely.
You could put that ooblot or thingy, whatever that's called, above your O.
Not even that. I'm going to give myself an Elon Musk name, right? My name is now A49 Blackheart Jonathan Panther guy. That's my new name. So because I'm the only one.
Good thing you don't have to fit that on the back of a jersey.
Yeah. Poor equipment guy would be losing his mind. right? It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter. It's a good logo. It jumps out to Carolina fans, right?
You know,
Who cares?
here's the main thing. And when I think of football or sports in general, I think of the mascot. I don't really think of the first thing. So when I think of South Carolina, I think of Gamecocks. When I think of Carolina, I think of Panthers. As far as the NFL goes, I get the first part is important, but as a sports guy, at least this is the way I look at it. You tell me the mascot, I probably got a better shot of knowing the team.
I'll go 2 steps further on you. Number one, when I think Carolina, I think baby blue basketball, right? I think Tar Heel basketball, not football and any sport. I hear Carolina, I think basketball. And that's okay. Because if we're talking about anything else in context, I know what that means. Number two, the discussion all comes down to building a brand, right? It all comes down to building a brand. And here's the fact. When it comes to building a brand in sports, there's really only one thing that matters, right? The only thing that matters is win. Now, you can dress up the brand a little bit. You can dress up the brand a little bit. You can do what the Oregon Ducks did a few years back when Phil Knight decided to jump on board. When Phil Knight jumped on board with the Oregon Ducks, and I made this a big discussion at the point in time. When Phil Knight jumped on with the Oregon Ducks, and he decided to go all in on the 967,416 different uniform combinations, that was a branding move, right? Does it have any impact on how the Ducks play on the field? Kinda, right? In that you might get a handful of kids that go, damn, that's cool. I want to do that, right? Those guys look awesome. I want to go there. I want to dress like that. I want to look like that. But if you do that and then you go out and you go 6-6 or 7-5 for 7 years straight, you're gonna go right back to what you were. There is only one thing in college football that matters when it comes to branding. Winning. That's it. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. Can you put together a program that wins? Now, a marketing branding campaign might help temporarily, right? You might get a little bump in recruiting if kids go, damn, that's really cool. I want to be a part of that. But if all those kids start showing up and then you go 6-6, 7-5 every year, all of a sudden, man, I want to look cool, but I don't want to get my kicked every single week while I look cool. The only thing that matters in terms of branding on college football fields is winning, right? Does Alabama lean hard into their branding? No. Speaking of those hypothetical people out on the street, if you walked out onto the street, I promise you, there would be as many people that can't tell the difference between the Bama A and the script A as there would be people who can. I know most of you guys can because you're sports people. But if you took a white Bama A and a white Atlanta A and you slapped them on a solid black background and walked downtown and said, what are these logos? A lot of people wouldn't tell them apart. But the Atlanta Braves and the Alabama Crimson Tide have a ton of success. Why? Because they win. If I ask you to draw me right now Penn State's logo from memory, could you do it? No. Some of you could. The hardcore could. But most of you couldn't. Penn State has the most freaking bland uniform in all of sports. Lonzo, does Penn State have stripes on their jersey? Around the sleeves, around the neck? Can you tell me? I can't.
I usually don't care, but I'm going to say no.
I can't tell you. I don't think they do. I'm pretty sure it's just solid blue, white numbers or solid white blue numbers. Nothing on the helmet. right? I think don't they have like one thin blue stripe across the middle of the helmet? Outside of that, it's solid white. Is Penn State hard leaning?
I thought it was solid white. I don't know.
That's my point, right? That's my point. Yeah, it's got a very thin blue stripe down the middle of it. But that's exactly the point. Do those people?
You're not going to see it Saturday because of all the scarlet and gray scuffs that's going to be on those helmets.
Buckeyes by 50. Do those schools lean hard into all this branding talk? No. Their brand is the product they roll out on the field, man. Their brand is the show they put on. And nothing else. And nothing else. Oh, everyone else thinks it's SoCal. Who the hell cares? Right? The only people that logo and brand matters to are the people who are buying the shirt with it on it. And I promise you, the majority of people whining and complaining and going, oh, that's Southern Cal. They're not buying a shirt, so who the hell cares? Right? What does it matter? Clemson's Tiger Paw is Clemson's Tiger Paw. And it matters to them if it's cocked 45 degrees or whatever. Doesn't matter to anybody else. Do you think they care? Do you think they care if they roll down the street and somebody goes, it's just a dumb Tiger Paw? Hell no, they don't, because that's not their brand. Their brand is making the playoffs. Their brand is natties. That's their brand, and that's all that matters.
All right, I got to disagree with you there. You mess with someone's Tiger Paw, they're going to want to fight you, especially on a Friday or a Saturday night after they've been out, which is what they do on Fridays and Saturdays. Well, all right, they do it every night, sometimes during the day. They're probably going to be, what is it? Is it 2 sheets or 3 sheets? I don't drink, so I don't know. There are sheets involved as far as to the wind, so they're going to want to fight over the Tiger Paw. And as far as the Gamecocks go, the only ones making a big deal about this logo change are actually Clemson fans. Whether they're on the air or off the air, they're Clemson fans, and they're making a big deal about it because, yeah, you're still stuck on the sheets.
There are sheets involved.
Hey, man, I don't know.
That's my favorite thing to happen today. There are sheets involved. Next time I'm having a whiskey at the house, I'm going to text Lonzo, there are sheets involved.
You know my favorite thing that's going to happen today? When Rashad Beard comes on.
Yeah.
That's my
Which is coming
thing.
up here in just a minute.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll wrap it up with this, right? I get what Lonzo's saying. If you go to some Clemson fan's truck and you stand the Tiger Paw straight up, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if you walk up and you go, hey, your Tiger Paw's dumb. Most Clemson fans don't give a rat's patootie.
No, you are wrong. You haven't been around these people. If you talk about their Tiger Paw, they're going to want to fight you. Whether they're on the air or off the air, they're going to want to fight you. You don't mess with their Tiger Paw.
All right, fair enough. I haven't had that experience.
Well, I have. And I've lived here half my life. So I've had to deal with these people. Not all of them. We got good people on the stream right now. They're Clemson fans. They're good people. Those guys, they're perfectly sober right now. And they no sheets involved at all and would not want to fight. But if you go down the corner, yeah.
At 9:34 a.m.
Oh, there's some of them. You know that.
All right, let me make my last point. Then we hop off because my man Rashad's in the stream. We got Rashad Beer coming on the Top Panther Football next. Last point. At the end of the day, what is the point of branding? What is the point of logos? What is the point? It is to put your product as visibly as possible in the public eye. Mission accomplished, right? Mission accomplished. As the old saying in journalism goes, in radio goes, talk good about me, talk bad about me, just talk about me, right? I don't care what you say about me as long as you're telling people about me. And that's what's accomplished here. The logo's fine. It doesn't look like SC's. It's a different font. It doesn't have the block ends on the letters. It is compressed as opposed to elongated. They're not locked in with each other. It doesn't look anything like SC's logo. But even if it did, who gives a damn? Who cares? It's yours. Nobody else matters. No one else's opinion on it is relevant or important. That's all I'm going to say on it. No more logo talk. I'm over logo talk. Can we talk football? The answer is yes. With my guy, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast. I suspect there may be some level of celebration out of Rashad when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. right back, kids. Don't go nowhere. We back. Sean, what's up, fella? Do we ever shot it? There we go. What's up, big dog?
My bad. I was muted. My fault.
Nope, you're all good.
All good over here, man.
Love to hear it. Steven said, I want a breakdown of the number of sheets to the wind during the break, please. I believe the expression is 3 sheets to the wind. However, from this point forward, I'll never say that expression again. From now on, it's just going to be, I'm drinking whiskey and there are sheets involved. What a great line from the great one. So did your boy Rhodey skip the game on Sunday, or was he there for it?
Nah, he was no, he was on the stream with me. I didn't go to the game. I gave it to my parents. My parents went.
You regret that?
No, I don't. My parents wanted to see Tom Brady, so
okay.
They got it.
Sure.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they got to see him on his back looking at the sky.
They did. They definitely did. I'm glad my parents got to see a dub, so it doesn't matter to me. I'll be around.
That's a good kid right there.
I hope the same results happen tonight, that he's laying on his back
Yes, sir.
looking at the sky.
We need the Ravens to handle business.
I'm not a big Baltimore fan since, Art Modell stole the Browns away in the middle of the night and turned them into, even though I'm not a Browns fan, still being from Ohio, you're obligated to not like them because of that. Remember that story? That dude drove 500 miles to pee on his grave. It's yeah.
I respect that.
But I am a Ravens fan tonight.
Yes, sir.
Hope Lamar runs all over that depleted defense, and he probably should.
let's talk a little Carolina Panther football, shall we? My guy Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast, which you can find on YouTube by searching and subscribing to the Panther Nation podcast, which I very much suggest that you do. Phenomenal stuff. And they go live like, I'm pretty sure at this point, Rashad just leaves the webcam on and sits down when he's got a few. What's up, big fella?
What's going on, man? I'm excited coming off a victory. It's always good. I mean, when was the last time I could say that? It feels good.
Like 4 weeks ago, and you said
No,
it a lot, just for the
that
record.
didn't. Yeah, because we that and still that.
Yeah, there it is. Anyway, it's good talking to you, Rashad. We'll see you later, buddy. Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, and I'm gonna go behind the scenes on you here. My dude's a good guy. All right, gave up the tickets to Sunday so that the parentals could go out there and watch Brady. Rashad watching from the house. How happy were the parents that they got to go see a Panthers win, or are they Brady fans and you got dropped on your head as a kid? What happened?
No. They're Panthers fans, and I'm proud because they actually stayed and watched the entire game. My parents are notorious for going to Panthers games and leaving because we're getting thrashed. So they'll get up and leave at halftime. They actually stayed. So I'm proud of the Panthers. They watched all 4 quarters, which is awesome. And yeah, shout out to my parents, man. They enjoyed themselves.
I love it. Now, you and me, and I think Lonzo's in this group, we are 00 guys. That is, we're staying till the clock hits 00, regardless of the score, regardless of the outcome. Is that when did you pick that up? Is that just a Rashad thing?
No, I always stay. I always stay. But my parents, they don't stay. I'll stay to 00s. And I did not do that though against the 49ers. When we played the 49ers, I did leave early. That's the first time I've ever done that. I was just so frustrated. But yeah, I'm a 00 guy too. So I'm gonna stay.
Let's talk a little bit, just a couple of minutes about the win itself. And Rashad, it basically comes down to me. And I think you could even say this about the Rams game, but obviously that was a wild week for the Panthers. All year long, we've been asking for this team to establish an identity. And hilariously and ironically enough, it's when Christian McCaffrey leaves the team that the Panthers have now an identity, and it's running the damn football. It would make me laugh if it wasn't so frustrating, because if you had that identity and you beat Cleveland and New York out the gate, we clearing away first place in the NFC South right now.
It's not ironic at all, because I've come up here and I've said it a million times that Christian McCaffrey touches the ball, and when he's to me, this was like addition by subtraction, right? I've come up on this show and I've said on my show that when Christian McCaffrey's in the game, he's the ultimate crutch. He's the guy you go to when you're in trouble. You give him empty yardage, 30 carries a game. And I've said that you got to get other people involved. And he goes out the game, and now all of a sudden I've got to utilize all my weapons because we don't have Christian McCaffrey anymore. So now we actually give DJ Moore 10 targets. We give Deontay Foreman the football a lot, which I've been pounding the table for. If you watch any Tennessee Titans football last year, you would have realized this guy is actually really good. And then Chuba Hubbard. And I'm a little surprised with Chuba. He balled out, did a great job. He's been very sketchy lately, but he played very well. So now you're right. We have an identity, and it's good that we're actually, and shout out to the offensive line, man. Shout out to the Great Wall of Carolina. That's what we're calling them. We're coining it right now. The Great Wall of Carolina, because they're playing well. They're making PJ Walker's life easy. And now you're right. We have that running the football identity, and it's great. I've been calling this forever.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because we've said on the show before that, and somebody asked earlier in the week, like, where was this Carolina team back in weeks 1, 2, and 3? And I said, you can get to a point when you have a great player like a McCaffrey. I think New Orleans has fallen victim to this with Alvin Kamara, with Dennis Allen as the head coach a little bit as well. When you have a playmaker that is as talented as those cats, you can fall into the trap of pretty much putting all your eggs in one basket, as the phrase goes, right? And when you don't have that guy, then you go, all right, what else do we have? And it's like, oh, damn, all these other guys have been here the whole time. And I mean, I think you're spot on. That's pretty much what happened here. When McCaffrey and all the options he brings to the table weren't option 1A every single play, and you had to start looking at other guys. Oh my goodness, would you look? There's DJ Moore with that 7 to 10 catches that he should have had all season, every game.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's exactly right. And shout out to McAdoo. He called a great game. And shout out to PJ Walker too, man. Can't say enough about PJ because the guy was playing. I mean, you look at some of those throws. I don't know when the last time I was able to look at the Carolina Panthers football game and say, wow, what an amazing throw. I said it at least 3 or 4 times watching the game on Sunday. So I love this, and hopefully it continues. Hopefully it's not a flash in the pan. But they did a great job. I was very, very thoroughly impressed with the game plan. And hopefully we continue to get everyone involved, spread the football around. And like I said, I love C-Mac. He's a great player, great individual talent. But you have to get other teammates involved to make the offense not as predictable. When people know they have to shut down Christian McCaffrey, and as the game wears on, he's going to slow down a little bit. And it shows, right? I like how, at the first half, it was Chuba Hubbard. Then the second half, it was Foreman. That's really, that's what I've been pounding the table for, man. And I'm just glad they did. Finally.
Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Throw this one out there. PJ's got to get the start Sunday, right? I know that Sam is probably ready to come back. Baker has been running with the second team. He's healthy and good to go, it looks like. But I think you got to ride the hot hand. And let's be real, this game last weekend against Tampa Bay was the best game that any Panther quarterback has had since Sam Darnold week 3 of last season. You got to ride PJ until he becomes a 4th-string quarterback again, right?
Yeah, and I believe Wilkes has already said it. He's already said that they're rolling with PJ. He's going to get the start, which is what I love, right? Can you imagine what would have happened if Matt Rule was still the head coach, and they asked him who's going to get the start? He would have said, "Oh, we got to look at the tape. We got to evaluate. We got Sam. We got all these people. We're going to evaluate the tape." And I just love the fact that Steve Wilkes came out there and said, "You know what? This guy's earned the right. He has done nothing to not earn the starting position. He's earned it, right? Let him keep it." You know what that does throughout the week? It gives him confidence that he can go out there and not look over his shoulder and say, "You know what? I got these guys breathing down my back." So shout out to Wilkes for calling it, because I think he's earned it. And I think, as long as he comes out there and he plays well, I think he'll continue to keep the job. And also that gives us an opportunity to keep our 4th round pick in 2024 if Baker Mayfield does not play 70% of the snaps. There's a little bit of chess going on with the quarterback position. And I also think, it's going to be a great game. I feel like, going into this game against Atlanta, against our division rival, we actually have the opportunity to take the division lead, which is insane. I mean, it's nuts. If Tampa loses tonight, the Panthers win on Sunday, we'll be first in the division, and all that tank talk goes out the window, right? So I love what's going on with the Panthers. I'm excited, and I'm rooting for PJ. Go PJ Walker.
We talked about that a little bit on our podcast the other day. That forget 2-3 weeks ago, 6 days ago, the conversation was tank. Now it's let's go take a divisional lead. We'll be coming back to that obviously next week when we kind of see how tonight and Sunday play out. Let's switch gears for just a minute. Monday is the trade deadline, and I speculated yesterday that the Panthers may not be done. That is not the same as saying they will make a move, but they may not be done. They're obviously going the Belichickian path. We've got 8 picks in this upcoming draft and the chance to add more. I threw out my speculative, this guy might be the next Panther to move on for a draft pick, and that was Terrace Marshall Jr. Is he on that list for you? Are there any more Panthers on that list for you? Look, we know Brian Burns didn't go anywhere. Chin's not going anywhere. Wood's not. The Young Foundation's not going anywhere. Are there any other guys that for contract reasons or performance reasons you think may not be a Panther next Tuesday?
Terrace is interesting. I have a lot of faith in Terrace Marshall. I love Terrace Marshall. I know he had that bad drop in the first throw of the game to him, and he's been struggling. And I think the biggest thing with him is health. I have not thought about him getting traded, to be honest with you. I don't think it would make it would make sense for another team to go out there and try to get him. But for the Panthers, I just think that you have to assess where you are. And I think he could be a part of the long-term plan. It's what, second year? So I think you got plenty of time to kind of wait on him. So I would, if it was me and I'm the GM, I wouldn't. Go ahead.
Let me give you my theory on that. My theory on that is this. There's a bunch of contenders right now, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, that need that spot. They need that position, right? And on top of that, they all know that they all need that position. So the way I set it up on the show was that trade works if you can get 2, maybe 3 teams like an LA, a Green Bay, and a Tampa Bay that all need that position, and you can bid them against each other. Now, all of a sudden, a guy that's been here for 2 years and the numbers have been okay but inconsistent. In any other year, he might be, as valued as a 6th, 7th. Maybe you get a 4th for him. Maybe you get a 4th and a 6th, or 4th and a 7th for him. You may be able to get more than his value, and even though it would hurt the production, if you can create a bidding war. If you can't, then no. I'm not sending him off for a 6th. But if I can get a 4th and a 7th, I pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I see your rationale. To me, I just think Terrace Marshall's talented, and I don't want to give. Even if it turned into a bidding war, I don't want to see Terrace Marshall leave. That's just that's a personal bias. This is my opinion. So I wouldn't let him go. But if I were to move a guy or look to move a guy, it's probably going to be Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson has a contract that's not very attractive next year. I think his cap hit is it's like $25 million or something like that. It's a big, big number. So I would look to kind of move him. He's playing well too, and I like Shaq. But from a cap casualty, I think that would be the one I would look to move. Other than that, I don't see anybody else getting moved. I think we're in a good position as far as draft picks go. And I think, we'll continue to massage some contracts to make sure we fall up under the cap next year. So I think we're in a good space. I think Christian McCaffrey was the big one. Robbie Anderson, obviously getting rid of him. I think those are good. So I think we're in a good place. I would not be surprised if anybody else gets moved, but I think we're kind of good right now.
All right, 30-second breakdown. Give me the game result coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going with the Panthers W, man. I think we have some confidence right now. The Falcons are banged up a little bit, and they have one of the worst secondaries due to injury in the league right now. So I think PJ's going to look to attack that. As long as we can stop the run, we've been doing a great job since the Giants game. The first 2 games we struggled stopping the run. I think we're going to be able to stop the run on Sunday and put the ball in Mariota's hands, and you know how that's going to turn out. So I think we're going to be well. I think we're going to get the victory. We're going to go down to Atlanta and win this rivalry, and we're going to take over the division, and you're going to see a whole different team moving forward. So I'm excited.
Yes, Carolina Panthers division leaders, just like we all said they would be. Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. Find them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC, but more importantly, subscribe to that YouTube channel. All right, big dog. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you, fella.
Keep pounding, man. Division leaders Sunday. Let's go. Keep pounding.
Yeah. Rashad, ever the optimist. Love to hear it. We're back after this for hour 2 of the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Appreciate you, big dog.
All right, guys.
We'll see you next week, buddy.
Yeah.
Consolidation loan from LightStream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you can get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR, but with LightStream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 6.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save.
Courtney said you're very on brand today. That is correct.
Taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish, so we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to get conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method, So in no time, you'll be speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Chavo. Sí, muchas gracias.
Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold.
If someone in your life actually laughed like that,
I would never tell a joke.
never. So this is the final game of the season as far as regular season.
Regular season.
All right. So win in, lose out is
My understanding is that they are in.
okay.
It's just a matter of seeding. And
So what? 3 out of 4 or something make it?
no, I think all 4 go.
Really?
But it's just who plays who where.
Okay.
It's a way like the South Carolina
it
setup
changes
is,
so much.
yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
and it's so much different than anywhere I've ever been before as to how it's structured.
Well, don't get used to it because
It'll change again next year. Yeah, Steven, I completely forgot that we haven't drawn out of the boo box yet.
It's not my fault.
I know.
And I'm not gonna say, hey, I mean, that's on you.
We'll do it.
I
We'll do it
mean,
today. We'll do it
you
the
need
last
to
hour.
apply punishment, not me. I'm not, hey, punish me. No, that's not me. Is that a sadist or mask? Well, anyway.
Masochist would be if you were the one requesting it. Sadist would be the one if you were requesting it be done to someone else.
Okay, so which one would you be?
If I was enjoying it, I would be a sadist.
So you're not going to enjoy the punishment that you're going to inflict on
Depends
me?
on which one you draw.
Okay. I could be angry with you, Steven. I could, but it's part of the thing. But it's not, I can't do everything. Like, hey, Rob, you forgot to punish me. No, I'm not going to do that.
I think we should do the podcast tomorrow so that we can see what the game score is tonight. Because obviously that changes the discussion about the game on Sunday.
Works for me.
Okay.
As long as it works for them.
Yeah.
Apparently I missed a meeting yesterday. But they just sent out a video of the meeting. So I will watch that later. Eventually I'm going to be doing everything right, I think. But, just not yet. By the end of the season. Were you still efforting getting someone on?
Emily, gosh, I got to give you the number. Stay right there. Stream, be right back.
Hello. Hang on, I'll get you right on the air.
Our numero dos to the Rob Brown Show starts right now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is tremendous as always to be with you on a Thursday afternoon. Nope, morning, almost afternoon. Show's over there.
It's not even almost after. I mean, almost is like 11:45 or
If you're
something.
listening to the Rob Brown Show, time flies because you're having fun, which means the next 2 hours over, lickety split, and then it's the afternoon. By the way, my favorite thing about this gig is we get to we very
free
frequently,
pizza.
Besides that,
free tickets.
Besides that,
getting to work with awesome people like me.
Besides that, best part about this gig is every now and then you get talked to by somebody downstairs that's like, hey, I need you to go to lunch with a client, or I need you to come here and shake hands and kiss a baby or whatever.
What's that like, Rob?
It's pretty spectacular.
Is it?
Yeah. Like today when I get to go have a client lunch at the warehouse in Midtown. Pretty dope day. Pretty good day.
I may just show up over there and sit in the corner and just watch.
Lonzo, you can sit with us.
No. I wasn't invited.
You go to
I
this
wasn't
school.
invited, but you know what? I know I've been there. I have been there, and the place is pretty big. So I could sit in the corner and order some more food that I couldn't finish because it's way too much food. And sit there and just take my time and watch Rob Brown and see if I'm gonna sit in the other room because there's like a couple
people around the corner.
No, because I'll still be able to hear you.
For the record, I was not so much invited as I heard someone talking about it. And I was like, oh, it'd probably be good if I'm there, right? Probably be good if I'm there.
Yeah, it makes sense if you're but come on.
You know what would make sense right now? To stop making Emily Adams wait on the whole line and let her come on the air and talk with us. She is a beat reporter for the Greenville News in Columbia, South Carolina, covering the Gamecocks, and joins us usually every Wednesday on the show. Had to push it back a day. No worries, no problems. Love having Emily Adams on the show. Emily, what's up, homie?
Hey, Rob, how's it going?
It's going. How are you, buddy?
I can't complain, 4 straight wins. Things are going well down here.
4 straight wins, first ever over A&M, who are in a fire right now. But who cares what's going on with A&M? Let's talk about the Gamecocks right now. And before we get into the football here in just a minute, I assume there's a mild hint of jubilation in the air in Columbia, South Carolina right now.
I think so. I mean, they just sold out another home game for this weekend with Mizzou, and that's now they've sold out every home game played on a Saturday. Unfortunately, that Hurricane Ian game that they had to move to Thursday ruined the streak. But I mean, every game, whether it was that noon kickoff with Charlotte, now we've got 4 p.m. this week with Mizzou. I mean, the fans are showing up, and from what I know of last year, it was not this same level of hype and energy. And I mean, being in the stadium for that A&M game, it was a pretty cool environment. It was, full till the very end. We had a nearly averted field storming. The student section certainly wanted to, and they got security out there fast enough to keep them off. But it's been a cool atmosphere the last few days.
I said earlier in the show, Emily, and I don't know how much you have been getting pushed around a little bit, but I said earlier in the show, logos don't matter, colors don't matter, catchphrases don't matter, mottos don't matter. None of that matters. If you are trying to build a brand, the only thing that matters is winning, right? Like the only thing that is going to help push your brand to the next level as a recognizable national college program is to go out there and win. And I think that's what South Carolina's doing right now, right? Like we all came into the year thinking 6-6 is probable, 7-5 would be nice, 8-4 is probably unlikely. This team's got a chance to get to 8-4 with 3 very winnable games coming up. Is that kind of the mood in Columbia right now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's something we've all been talking about, just all the beat reporters as well. I think, after you look at that stretch they had with, Georgia State, Arkansas, and Georgia at the beginning of the season, where they really didn't look great in any of those games. I thought Arkansas was the best one out of the 3. And even that was, the first half of that game was pretty rough. So I think just sort of the turnaround that they've had, and again, it's, you play Kentucky without Will Levis, you play Texas A&M with a starter that got benched in the beginning of the season, and then at the end of the game, they're third string freshman quarterback. So it's they're getting dealt some favorable hands, I think, but I don't think it matters when you look at the score sheet and it says South Carolina won, and you look at the AP and the coaches poll, and South Carolina is number 25 in both of them. So as much as I think the reporters side of us are all sort of trying to break down how significant these really are from the true football perspective, I think for fans, for recruits, I know, Shane has talked about them having had a big recruiting weekend and a lot of big recruiting wins with that A&M game. So, I mean, I think just from that purely sort of anecdotal culture aspect, I mean, they are skyrocketing into the right direction.
We're talking with Emily Adams. She covers the South Carolina Athletic Department for the Greenville News, and obviously big win over the Aggies this past Saturday. And, we've talked a little bit about this. It's interesting, the parallels between the Gamecocks and the Carolina Panthers, in that both of them are teams that were expected to be down, expected to rebuilding, expected to have kind of a mid-year, if you will. Carolina plays Atlanta Sunday for the division lead. The Gamecocks right now have an opportunity to go bowl eligible this weekend with 4 games remaining on the schedule. Actually, 5 games remaining on the schedule at this point. Plenty of time to get to that 7 or maybe 8 win mark. And I think both of those teams have a parallel in that both of them needed to find an identity, Emily, and both of them have found the identity in being a team that goes, we don't care if we're going to run the ball. We got cats back there wearing numbers in the 20s that can run this thing down your throat. Marshawn Lloyd has turned into that dude, and in doing so, he's opened up the rest of the field for other guys to get involved. What is your take on the fact that Carolina kind of has, over the past few weeks, established themselves as a team that can run the heck out of the football when they need to?
Yeah, I mean, Marshawn's just been, unbelievable. He's at the point where he is like borderline unstoppable, I think, for a lot of defenses. And I think Mizzou's defense really has been their strength this year. So I think that'll be kind of an interesting matchup and test for him, especially this weekend. But I think I almost wish they would lean into it more, because I think they're not committing to that hard enough almost, even just looking at that first series of the A&M game where, they get the interception, they get the ball back on, their own offensive 5-yard line, and they can't score a touchdown because they run 3 straight passing plays. That Marshawn had almost no yardage at halftime of the A&M game. Finishes with 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he had maybe 11 rushing yards at halftime. I wish they would commit to that out of the gate and commit to that being the identity and commit to that being their style. And frankly, to commit to Marshawn being the guy, over Spencer. Marshawn is the guy they're going to in the red zone. He's the guy that they're going to when they need a big play a lot of the time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's fine. And, if he's the guy, then let him be the guy. And that's something Shane said too, in post game after A&M, was that at halftime he had said to Marcus Satterfield, put the ball in our best players' hands and let them go make plays. And that's, it's jarring how clearly you can see that in the stat sheet, that as soon as Marshawn Lloyd started getting touches, South Carolina started moving the ball. And, adds 2 touchdowns from him, he gets to nearly 100 yards for the 3rd time this year, I think. So, that is clearly what works for them. And I wish they would really lean into that hard and make that their thing.
Let's let me give you something that kind of relates to that I said earlier in the week, and I want to get your response to it. And it is the fact that at this point, I kind of want to see Spencer Rattler become a game manager quarterback, right? Like we expected, expected, whatever words you want to use, that he was going to come in. He was going to be freshman Oklahoma Spencer Rattler instead of sophomore Oklahoma Spencer Rattler. And certainly he hasn't been good, but he hasn't been tearing it up the way that we had hoped he would either. I think there comes a point where you rely on the run game. You just have to recognize that Spencer Rattler needs to grow as a game manager, and then maybe he blossoms back into that superstar down the line. But I would like to see less reliance on Spencer as the playmaker and more on him as the manager / distributor out of Marcus Satterfield. Do you think that is the right direction, and what ramifications do you think would the offense go through if they did move to that strategy?
Yeah, it's hard because I think Spencer right now is not a great game manager. I mean, I think, everyone in the team's talked really highly of his leadership, his off-field stuff, his, just kind of the presence that he has in that locker room. But he makes too many mistakes right now, honestly, to be a game manager. And he has thrown what I think 8 interceptions now. I think he didn't have any this past week, which was good. I think that's one of his first interception-free games. But even you have the strip sack that happened, and again, is that his fault? Marcus talked a little bit about that yesterday, and his availability of just sort of you can accept certain turnovers. Sometimes somebody's just going to hit the ball right and it's going to pop out. But I think there's too many errors happening with protecting the ball, with, his scrambles and things like that to call him a game manager. And I think he can get there, but I don't know, this late in the season, how much that's going to change. And I think he still has that playmaker potential. We see it when he hits those long passes that make you just go, oh my gosh, like that was amazing. And there's always 1 or 2 of those a game. Like the potential is there. And I just think, and I don't know if it's, those growing pains just take time. Beamer says it a lot, that year 1 in a system is the hardest year for a quarterback. And unfortunately, that's probably all they're going to get is this 1 year. So I think it's hard almost at this point, I think, to know what to do with him, especially because of Marshawn's emergence as just, such a clutch guy who's going to go out there and make a play if you put the ball in his hands. And I think without Marshawn, we would still be looking to Spencer to be that. And because, the run game has really been so successful, since those first couple games of the season, it's easier now to say, okay, well, we just need Rattler to game manage. And I think they can have the best of both worlds. They can have both of them be playmakers. I just think there's something that's not clicking still. There's some disconnect that just isn't quite right with the passing game. And I think if they could get it to come together, it has so much potential, but I don't know, again, at this point, we're getting down to the wire here to make it work. And so I don't know how well it will by the time we get to the end here.
Let me ask you, because that's interesting, because I said something very similar to that on Monday, in that they've obviously started to find the run game a little bit, but in order to unlock the run game's full potential, I think you got to hit on the pass game. You just said you think there is something missing from that pass game still, as do I. But to be real, I don't know what it is. And that's kind of why I default back to, I think maybe it's Spencer Rattler. And I don't know why. I thought getting out of Oklahoma would kind of ease the pressure on him. A less pressure-packed situation in Columbia would kind of clear the headspace and let him start to produce more. But you've got running backs running good routes. The offensive line has gotten better by the week. They're certainly not great, but better by the week, which leads me to believe the problem is either bad schemes from Sat or Spencer's just not there. And whether he can get there or not is not the debate. He's just not there yet. Do you think that is the one thing that's missing? And can you get it fixed? Because while, you've got Mizzou, you've got Vandy, and you've got Florida, Mizzou and Vandy, I think should both be wins. Florida in Florida is a very interesting game to me. But then you've got the Orange Crush to end the year. Tennessee is exceptional. And obviously Clemson's going to give you all they got. Is there a chance that in the next 2 games, maybe 3, depending on what Florida looks like at that point, that something that is missing gets found? And does it have to do with changing the game of Spencer Rattler?
Yeah, I don't, and I think that's what I've struggled with Spencer a little bit, is because I think he's so sort of two-sided. It's either he looks excellent or he looks awful, and there's not a lot of in between. I mean, I even look at that Kentucky game where you literally saw the switch flip between halves, where he was really bad in that first half against Kentucky, and then came out of halftime and looked like a different player. And so I think seeing the potential that he has when it's good is so, like, you want to see more of that. It's so tempting to buy into and just be like, he has so much talent. And I feel the same way as you. I can't put my finger on what's not working, because they have the skill players to do it. They have, a competent offensive line, which is really, I think, all that you can ask for at this point. And I don't know what it is with Rattler either that's sort of keeping it back. And I think some of it certainly might be Sat. We've heard enough criticism of him this year, and Beamer coming out Saturday saying, I told Sat to make this change is not something we hear from him a lot. He's usually very protective of Sat and takes a lot of responsibility for, decisions that get questioned. So I think there's certainly an element of just the play calling in that. But yeah, I don't know. And I don't know too that it's, when you look at a game like A&M where it took them so long to get the running game going, then Spencer's in a bad situation in the first half, because, it's all kind of being put on him. And then it's not clicking. And then it just kind of, you get yourself into a spiral there. And then in the second half, the run game got going and it got better. So I think they're all sort of, there's a big messy web of issues and positives that's happening right now. And they need to really sit down and be able to untangle that. And I think, playing teams like Mizzou and Vandy might help with that as you head into Florida. And I think Florida will be a good measuring stick for them, again, in a similar way to how Kentucky was, to sort of check where they're at heading into, the postseason, bowl season type of situations.
She is Emily Adams. She is a beat reporter for the Greenville News based in Columbia, where she covers the South Carolina Gamecocks. And we have got a big one lined up against Mizzou, predominantly because I think this is a show-off game, right? Like, I think this is to show if this past week was legit and if this team really has gelled or if it was a one-off. I'm hoping the former, not the latter, but we will find out on Saturday. Emily, you are awesome. We appreciate it. We will talk to you next week.
All righty. Thanks for having me, Rob.
Of course, always. That is Emily Adams. You can find her on the social media at EA Adams 6, at EA Adams 6 on Twitter. Phenomenal follow if you are a Gamecock faithful. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. It's all on you the rest of the way, ladies and gentlemen. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to get into? Text line is open for you right now at 71307. 71307. Start your text with fan and drop your topics on us. What do you want Lonzo and I to discuss? We'll hit them when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, Phyllis.
I can go back to new blinds, or are we getting curtains?
Right back, stream. All right, we're back, y'all. What's up, everybody on the stream?
All right, when Rashad was on, I felt like just staring at your picture the entire time.
I took it down.
Screen?
Yeah, that's
no,
why.
No. Your picture's still your picture in the corner. Your logo picture. I did it a little bit.
Oh, you were Brady bunching me?
Yes, it was. I think I know what my problem with the frame is. I'll tell you later because I don't want to tell you on the stream.
Fair enough.
Unless you want me to.
Yes.
All right. It looks like it was one of the first unlockables on the video game that we're playing.
That is actually really fair. It does. Choose your fighter.
We're talking about two different things. I'm talking about there are picture frames that you can unlock.
Oh, I
video
get what you're saying.
games.
Yeah.
I don't know why he left. I'm eating and I don't want to eat in front of people. So I just do this. I'm still here. He's back.
Hooray. Might have missed that. I'd have been furious.
What would you have done? Would you have been furious? Would you have stamped your feet? Would you have walked out?
Throw my hat.
Oh,
You know me. I'm
I've seen that
a hat
before.
thrower.
At what point will the hair reach where you want it to be, where you don't wear hats?
I don't know. I don't know. I've been asked that question, and the honest answer is I don't know. So traditionally, what has happened for me is that I'm like, I'm going to grow it, I'm going to grow it, I'm going to grow it. And then I just have a bad day one day, and I just go cut it all off, and I go back to real short. And then 2-3 days later, I'm like, why did I do that? Like I do this every time. So I'm fighting that urge with every part of my being right now, because it's finally starting to get like back where I want it. Like I can go full Chris Gaines, My Chemical Romance. I listen to Fall Out Boy on the weekends length. I'll put it this way. There are two influences.
You got the bro hair whip down though.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing.
Oh yeah. I got two factors that effectively determine when I get it cut. Number one is when I get frustrated with it because it's in my way. And number two is when Courtney goes, I don't find this attractive. And that are the two things. Exactly. There you go. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. I'll tell you what.
I'd love one of those too, but I just wouldn't
want
go
to use
very
it.
often.
You
Well,
don't say.
I go once or twice
When
a
I
year.
get my once a year haircut.
There you go.
The Sports Talk Radio Show with the best hair in the upstate, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Let me ask you this. I'm a big Kareem Abdul-Jabbar guy. I think most people who are, what's the word?
Who's that?
I think most people who care about the history of the game of basketball, who are interested in the history of the game of basketball, are aware who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is.
So you're saying if you're not, then you don't care. That's what you just said.
Yes.
By the way, I loved him in Airplane.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely correct.
So you actually thought I didn't know who that was?
No,
I
know you know who
joke.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the NBA's all-time scoring leader, right? And Kareem was on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast the other day. Club Shay Shay. Magic Johnson, was on Club Shay Shay and was asked how Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would handle losing the NBA's all-time leading scorer mark. And Magic said, quote, I don't think well, end quote. Johnson acknowledged that the leading scorer record is something that Kareem thought he would have forever. And he's got good reason for thinking that. LeBron is in his 20th season. And while Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged higher scoring numbers earlier in his career, LeBron has 18 consecutive seasons where he's averaged at least 25 points per game under his belt to help him catch up. In order for a player to catch Kareem based on current NBA numbers, that player would have to go to the league at 18 years old, play for at least 20 years, and exceed the scoring averages of pretty much every great player ever and almost never miss a game within that time span. Something that LeBron, for the most part, has done.
Yeah, just think if he hadn't had a couple injuries where he'd be at this point.
He'd already be there.
Yeah.
He'd already have done it. But that's kind of the point, right? Is that not only do you have to have a 20-year career, not only do you have to get into the league at 18, because that takes you to 38. Ain't many NBA players getting to 38. You would also have to be recorded from 18 to 38 as the pretty much year-to-year scoring leader, or at least a threat every single year to get there. Magic said that Kareem is not handling it well, that he's going to lose that title to LeBron by the end of this year, probably in the next couple of months. He said, quote, let's be honest, the fact that it's a dude playing for the Lakers too, it's a dude playing in LA, I think it will be a hard pill to swallow. And it's not just Magic. It's not just Magic Johnson making this up. For Kareem has expressed his sorrow and resentment in his own way publicly.
You know what? Who cares? You know, records are made to be broken. I mean, you held it for a really long time.
You're taking the end of the segment, sticking it out front, Lonzo. My question was going to be to you, literally, do you care how Kareem feels about this?
No, I don't. I apologize for jumping in too quick.
Well, you interrupt me all the time.
Yeah, I do. It's a flaw.
When asked
Well,
about
do you
it,
care?
no.
Okay.
No.
All right. Is there anyone who does care aside from Magic and Kareem?
I got it, and I guess that's kind of my question, right? Because I think, yeah, the answer is yes, there's a lot of people. But I think a lot of people who care about it are just anti-LeBron in general.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Is it just anti-LeBron
Yeah.
people?
I think a lot of people who care about it and who don't want to see it happen are just anti-LeBron because of LeBron's politics and LeBron's outspoken nature. And I get that. I understand it.
Hey,
Right?
if they don't win a game in the next little bit,
0-4.
LeBron may just say, you know what? I'm done.
The LO Lakers.
Yeah. He might get his wish. They might just go bye-bye because LeBron may say, you know what? I didn't stick around for this.
I'm going no.
Can LeBron trade himself?
La GM. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news here. LeBron James has expressed interest in a trade away from the Los Angeles Lakers. The first person to drop that information is, of course, LeBron James. La GM is working the phones right now. Can somebody get me out of here? Hey, Giannis, I heard Milwaukee's real nice this time of year. Hey, New Orleans, y'all lost AD. How about you pick up his teammate?
So how close is he to beating this record?
A few hundred points.
Okay, so is there a chance that LeBron breaks this record on a team that hasn't won a game this season?
Oh yeah, no, he'll beat it this year.
I know, but
unless he.
But what if he beats it on an 0-for team?
It would be hilarious. Yes, don't get me wrong. I am very much enjoying the cataclysmic failure of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, but just because of Westbrook, right?
And Anthony Davis.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess you got some beef there.
Yeah.
We haven't said beef in a while.
How you enjoying LA now, AD? Granted, he got his ring.
I was say he got a
He
ring.
got his ring, but he needed Braun to do it, right? AD didn't win that ring. Braun won that ring.
You got to say he contributed. He definitely
Sure.
contributed
Sure.
when he was healthy.
But when we talk about LA's championship in the bubble, who we talking about? Let's be real. Who we talking about? 10 years from now, when we discuss that championship, who we talking about? It ain't AD, right? Hope you're enjoying LA, Hollywood. Anyway, LeBron's going to break it. He is currently sitting in a spot where, as of right now, he needs 1,225 more points to break the all-time scoring record. That would be at his current scoring average of 27.1 points per game. He would need 46 more games to rack up that total. We'll see. The target date right now, if he played that pace, would be January 28th against the Boston Celtics if he plays every game between now and then. If James misses the games at the same rate he did last season, then it would push that date back to March 12th against the Knicks. Through 4 games this season, James is averaging 25.3 points per game. That is 2 points, almost 2 full points behind his per game scoring average in his career, which would also extend that back just a little bit. But he will get it this year. So Kareem's not happy about it. I can't imagine Magic's happy about it, or else why else would he be talking about this other than Magic is a media guy now who's just like, yo, can I get some of that sweet, sweet attention paid to me? Please and thank you. Let me say something ridiculous nobody cares about to get that attention, right? But there's a lot of people who don't want to see it happen. And like I said, I don't think it is an acknowledgement of how great LeBron James has been for 20 years as an NBA All-Star. They just don't like the dude off the court. And again, I understand that. I got no problem with you. If you don't like LeBron off the court, I get it, right? He's outspoken about his politics. He said, even I, Liberab the woke warrior, has frequently said, oh, LeBron, that's dumb. LeBron, that's real dumb, dude. Keep it to yourself. I got no problem with LeBron or any other athlete being an activist for their causes. But don't be dumb, right? You say dumb things, you get called out. But then, and it inspires this text, right? We got a text that came in just a second ago. Rob, LeBron is just average. Is he, though? Like maybe in his 20th year in the National Basketball Association, he's no Giannis Antetokounmpo. Maybe in his 20th year in the NBA, he's no Kevin Durant. But the dude is averaging at almost 40 years old, 25 plus points per game. Yeah, the Lakers are 0-4. Well, let's talk about the fact that they're shooting like 23% from behind the arc on their best day. How about Russell Westbrook rolling out and going 0 for 11 in a game? 0 for 11. I'm not going to be that dude that's like, well, I could do better than 0 for 11 in an NBA game, because I probably couldn't. I think maybe if you put me on the Lakers, and you gave every Lakers starter, if you said you get $1 million, you get $1 million bonus if Rob Brown plays the 3 and he knocks down 1 bucket in this game, right? If Rob knocks down a bucket in this game, everybody on the Lakers team gets $1 million. I think maybe with everybody working only for me to get a point, maybe I could do better than 0 for 11. Russell Westbrook is a top-tier NBA player. The Lakers' failure at 0-4.
Westbrook was a top tier.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, we've seen players in the past when it's just gone, and it looks like it's just gone. You can put him on any team, it's gone. Now he's living off of his name.
He's so bad right now. And that's what I'm saying. The Lakers, I was going to say mediocrity, but mediocrity would be an upgrade at this point.
Yeah, they haven't won a game. It can't be. Yeah. But I disagree with LeBron being average for all the things that you pointed out.
You can dislike LeBron. That's fine. But to say he's average is just ridiculous. It's a bad take.
Is he the best player in the game now? No, he's not. He's not.
I would take Giannis over LeBron. I'd probably take Durant over LeBron. If you're asking me to build a franchise, I'd take Devin Booker over LeBron, right? If I'm getting him for like 5-6 years, obviously. Not for a single season, but like for the foreseeable future, I'd take D-Book. If it wasn't for the injuries, Zion over LeBron, right? But to call him average is ridiculous, and I guess that's why I'm so intrigued. Bron's at 37,163 points. He needs 1225 left for the scoring total. That's projected to happen in 46 games if he can get up to his career scoring average. Probably closer to 53, 54 games if he stays on his current pace this year of just over 25 a game. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I'm just curious as to how many of you guys, when LeBron, let's say LeBron gets within 10, 12 points, right? He needs a dozen points to set the scoring record. You know, every Lakers game is going to be on national TV when LeBron gets within 40 points, 50 points of the scoring total, right? They're going to put every game on TV until it gets there.
And there's going to be a who's of celebrities all over that
100%.
court. I mean, not that there aren't already,
The
but
Lakers could be 0-45 at that point. And then what is it now? The waste of money arena, Bitcoin arena is going to be packed with an A-list turnout of celebrities who want to be there to watch LeBron hit that title. Those games, when LeBron gets within 50, those games, every game, are going to be on national TV. My question is,
will they interrupt like the Aaron
hell yeah,
Judge
they will.
thing? Will they?
If it is not an ESPN or ABC like primetime broadcast or a TNT primetime broadcast, then whoever can get the rights will tune in. In fairness, you're probably not going to, that'll be the end of college football. The NFL will be in the playoffs in the playoffs at that point. So unless that game just happens to fall on a Sunday night, that game's probably going to end up being a weeknight adventure. So whoever can get the rights is going to go, we take you away from your previously scheduled broadcast, take you now out to Los Angeles or Boston or Minnesota or wherever the hell the Lakers are to watch LeBron, who has just gotten within 5 points or 10 points of the NBA's all-time scoring record, right? But my question here is, how many of you guys are going to, because I will absolutely be basing my schedule around the Lakers at that point, which is not a sentence I've ever said in my life and never will again if the basketball gods love me. How many of you guys will be setting your calendar around Braun hitting the scoring record, and how many of you will be cheering against him getting it? I'm curious. In fact, I'm going to put that on the Twitter poll right now. When LeBron threatens the scoring title, how many of you will be setting your calendar around it? How many of you will be pulling against him getting it, and how many of you don't care? I'm going to say, Zoe, it's probably like a third, and a third. Honestly. But Kareem's not thrilled about it. Kareem said, if LeBron breaks the record, and it looks like he has every reason to break it, I'll be very happy for him. The game will always improve with records that are broken. But he went on to say that, it would be a tough pill to swallow. Abdul-Jabbar has made a lot of different views on LeBron. Sometimes praises, sometimes critiques. But LeBron, not too long ago, was asked about his relationship with Abdul-Jabbar, and he said he doesn't have one. Says he doesn't have one at this point. So Kareem's not happy about it. Magic either isn't happy about it or is more than happy to play the feelings of an all-time Laker legend against the next all-time Laker legend in order to grab some media play. It's crap either way. How many of you are going to be tuned in to watch that? How many of you are going to be avoiding it like the plague? And how many of you don't care? Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute from right now. My name is Rob Brown. That's the great one, Lonzo. And you're you. And you're listening to the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
NHL tomorrow night, the Hurricanes host the New York Islanders. Catch Furman Paladins football all season long on Fan Upstate. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders, and that's your sports flash on the Fan Upstate.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the Fan.
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Always live from the free Odyssey app. CBS Sports Radio.
Prescription published on an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if the prescription is appropriate. Prescription supplies. See website for full details and report safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper, and you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping with prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Swamp Rabbit fans, assemble as the Battle of Greenville takes on the Bonsecourt Wellness Arena on Saturday, October 29th at 7 o'clock as the Greenville Swamp Rabbits host Marvel Superheroes Night, presented by Global Clinic of Pirates. It's on sale at swamprabbits.com.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I feel groggy in the morning.
Equal Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. Equal Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep Plus Next Day Energy with melatonin plus extended release B vitamins. Festivals, football, flannels. Some say fall is their favorite time of year. And this fall, they're now COVID-19.
So Cameron and I played some more Gotham Knights last night and had a glitch to where we had to reboot the game. There was a thug that we were fighting, and she was like frozen halfway in between a doorway. And we tried.
Did you hit her?
No, yeah, you could, but it did no damage. We did everything. I mean, throwing batarangs, we did combo attacks on her, everything we could do, and just nothing. And then finally, it's like, yeah, we got to reboot and see what's this.
All right, let's see what you guys are up to in the online chat, shall we? Steven says, "How about 27 straight days of college and NFL football?" I'll take 365 straight days if I can get it. We need a picture of Zoe on the other side and a moving energy bar by the end of the show. All right.
I finally get that. I read that. I didn't get it till now. I'm so slow.
I do kind of want to make a video.
Yeah, now you got to do that. You got to do that.
I don't disagree. All right, so that question I asked in the last segment is on the Twitter poll at @TheFanUpstate on Twitter @TheFanUpstate. When LeBron sets the NBA all-time scoring record in January or February, will you A, plan your day around it to watch it, or B, ignore it? Texas says, I'll drink beer and watch paint dry before I'll watch the flop Queen James. I don't want to get into a segment about flopping.
Because if it's your guy, you never notice the flopping. But if it's not your guy, then it's all the time. When flopping isn't as bad as it used to be. There was a time when it was really, really bad, but everyone was doing it.
I think it comes down to, and I've said this on the show before, right? Look at it from the perspective of a player. Look at it from LeBron. Look at it from KD. Look at it from you and your job, right? Let's talk about it that way. If you go to work and you get some preferential treatment, right? Boss comes up to you and he's like, hey, I know that everybody is performing this task but I'm going to give you a raise for doing it. Nobody else gets that. Are you going to go, that's not really fair, boss? Some of y'all might. But the majority of people aren't going to go, I'm getting preferential treatment and I don't want it.
It's not really fair. I'll take the money, but it's still, I wish there was a way we could get everybody else.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if you can't, you're going to take the money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest with each other. Here.
Obviously the boss thinks you deserve it. So,
right.
I mean, how could you refuse?
Right.
Can you even refuse a raise?
Sure. If you want to, I suspect there aren't many people who are going to be like, oh, you don't want me to pay you more money? Fine. Because then I'll put it in my check.
I would think,
because I've made my employees so happy that they're turning down money. I might as well get paid for that.
If I were told that I had a raise and I said, nah, you know what? I don't deserve it. The paperwork's already done. It'd be more of a hassle to take it off than it was to get it on there probably. So,
That being said, if you've got officials who are going out and letting LeBron or KD or Giannis or Zion or whoever else, Jalen, whoever, if you're getting calls based on whatever you're doing and it's getting you to the free throw line, it's getting you more possessions, it's getting your team more second chance opportunities, you're going to do it, right? Your problem here is not with LeBron. It's with the NBA. But as Lonzo pointed out, I don't think it is as problematic as it has been in the past, right? I was watching on Tuesday night, Pelicans at home against Mavs. Pelicans run out to like a 13-0 or a 13-point lead. Game is really good. We get down to the fourth. The Mavs bring it to within a point. And I'm like, in fact, I'm texting Keegan. Keegan's a Pels guy too. I'm texting Keegan. We're texting back and forth about the game. And both of us are like, are you ready for the emotional heartbreak when Luka puts us away? Right? Because it was inevitable. The Mavs come back. They're going to get a call. They're going to get the extra possession and a trip to the line to beat us at the very end because we don't have Zion or Brandon Ingram, the stars out there, right? And instead, with 6 seconds left to play, the Pels get sent to the line. The Pels knock down a free throw. They go up by 3. Luka comes down the floor, goes to jack up a 3, tries to draw the foul on it, doesn't get the call. 10 years ago, that's a superstar call. 10 years ago, they're sending Luka to the line to either tie it or win it, to make it more compelling. They didn't do it. New Orleans wins the game, beats Luka Doncic, the baby face of the NBA, right? I don't think it's nearly as problematic. And if you haven't watched in a while because you feel it's been that way, try it. Tune back in because I don't think it's as bad as it was. But even if it is, can you be mad at LeBron for recognizing that by doing that, he's getting more shots, he's getting more possessions, his team's getting more opportunities? No, we would all take advantage of that. Hour number 3 is around the corner on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save. 100 Progressive and Progressive.com. Broncos GM George Payton says he supports head coach Nathaniel Hackett 100%. He said Hackett is faced in the first 7 games as coach.
You get the support of your, I support this coach. Know what that means?
Oh, the old vote of confidence.
Yes. Nathaniel Hackett is done. He's got the vote of confidence.
Oh, yeah. Vote of confidence, you're fired. That's just how it works.
On Sunday. Week 8, the NFL kicks off tonight. The Bucs and the Ravens in Tampa. The Bucs going to be down 4 starters, including in the secondary, Antoine Winfield Jr. and Carlton Davis. Baseball news, David Stearns is stepping down as the Brewers president of baseball operations. He's going to remain with the team an advisory role. GM Matt Arnold gets the promotion, takes over for Stearns there in Milwaukee. I'm Brad Heller.
Hey, it's DA. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio. CBS Sports Radio.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge you on a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com.
Apologize to stream. I'm not ignoring you. I'm working.
It is the pride I sense in each of you that you're from here. It's evident in all you do. Since 1916, Smith & James men's clothing has been an upstate staple. They are the fabric of the community, literally. And Smith & James thrives because they succeed at their mission to make you look your best. Believe me, if they can make me look good, they can do it for anybody. I'm the before picture. Visit Smith & James at 222 Trade Street in Greer or at their new location on Verde Boulevard in Greenville, and visit them online at smithandjames.com.
Borderlands Comics and Games, proud sponsor of the Upstate Pulse, has been Upstate South Carolina's leader in comics and games for over 30 years. Borderlands has over 300,000 comics, graphic novels, and games. They also have the biggest variety of toys and collectibles around. And now, they're your Pokemon headquarters. Borderlands Comics and Games.
So what do you guys think that Rob is going to dress up as for Halloween? Because I don't know. He hasn't really hinted at what it's going to be. I'm curious. I'm guessing wrestler of some type, but I could be wrong. He might come as a hipster. Trying to figure out what you're gonna dress up as Monday. Rise guys were just up earlier with all their costumes on.
I saw it. Why would you not do it on Thanksgiving? Oh, they might be off on Thanksgiving.
Halloween.
That's what I meant. You don't dress up in costume for Thanksgiving? Dummy.
I was in a parade once and I did. I guess that counts.
It takes so much. Sorry, Steven. Sorry.
You should go see it. It's pretty good, man. Mad World in the first break.
Employers who post their job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Apologize for my loud typing.
It was very aggressive.
That shaky hand thing was getting me a couple times. It kept twitching and putting the caps lock on. So I'd have to go back and fix it. I'm going Randy Savage because I seem to recall that was mentioned that was a possibility for another show. So I think that's what he's coming as.
I've already done Macho Man. I don't repeat.
Here you have it.
I don't repeat at
Okay.
all.
All right. If you were watching on the stream, you get to see that stare that Rob just gave to me as he said, "I don't repeat." I mean, that was
So Monday's Halloween.
dude, that was stern for you.
Monday is Halloween. And as much as some people like to declare it a loser holiday, and that's fine. It's a fun shtick to have.
Yeah, people in the building already did theirs today because you know why? It's fun.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm a guy who likes to have fun. I like a good Halloween party. Love a good Halloween party. Lonzo's trying to figure out what I'm coming as on Monday. And you'll see on Monday. You'll see on Monday. The folks in the stream chat at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, or by liking and subscribing to the Rob Brown Show on Twitch and on YouTube have started to venture some guesses as well. And I will tell you, it is not a professional wrestler. All right. Lonzo ventured the guess of the Macho Man Randy Savage, which would be a good guess, but I have done Macho Man in the past, and I do not repeat costumes. I don't repeat. Like once it's done, it's done. Now, I might get broken out for a special occasion that's not Halloween in the future, like next year, not this upcoming year, not 2022 or not 20. What year are we going into? 23. I'm struggling. But 24, we are going to go to Philly for WrestleMania weekend, right? I like a good WrestleMania. One of my best friends from back home, it is WrestleMania 40 and her 40th birthday party. And so the lady friend and I are going to meet her and some other friends up in Philly for WrestleMania weekend. On top of that, we like to travel. She, if I recall correctly, has not yet been to Philly. And so we have discussed going to Philly for WrestleMania. I might break the Macho Man back out for that, but it's not what I'm going to rock for Halloween. So you'll see on Monday what the Halloween costume is going to be. I think you'll like it. I think you'll dig it.
I disagree with the repeating of a costume. If you're really if there's a role like you were made to play, like I've been Jason Voorhees a ton of times, but that doesn't work on radio because you have to talk.
Texter says, my guess is that Rob Brown is the 40-year-old virgin. Oh, wait, doesn't need to dress up for that one. Hey, Texter, I'm only 37, you jerk. Oh, man. That's good text, though. Good burn. Good burn.
Especially
good
since
burn.
we've already seen him be waxed. So, I mean, you know.
That is correct. I did do that. We are trying to bring back Bet for the Psycho next year, and I don't know why. It's the goofiest show I've ever done. It was a good time.
What's wrong with that? You get paid and you have fun.
I don't know, man.
Which is
Vegemite ain't fun.
Which,
waxing
by the way,
body hair ain't fun.
Getting paid and having fun is a good job to have. We have that job.
Correct.
For the most part, if you're on a show and you're not having fun,
you're doing it wrong.
You're absolutely doing it wrong.
All right. Let's get into a few other things. Have you seen this Russell Wilson story that's going around right now? So Russell was doing an interview yesterday. Russ had to sit out last week. He's been banged up with a hammy injury that he got 2 weeks ago. He sat out the Broncos game last week, and Brett Ripien got the start over Russ, mainly because they didn't want to risk exacerbating Russ's injury. I mean, they're 2-5. I don't know that it matters all that much.
Where are all those Russell Wilson fans out there? Oh, he's the greatest thing in his. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't say that.
Told you he was 3 letters. Starts with an M, ends with a D.
Mid!
Thank you very much.
So Russ sat last week with a hammy. The Horsies are over in London this week. The Broncos getting set up for a date in London with the Jaguars. Shad Khan, the soon-to-be London Jags, are hosting the Broncos. So the Broncos got set to fly over to jolly old England. And once they got there, Russ sat down for an interview. And they're like, all right, bud, you missed last week. Hammy tore up on you. You're back. Are you ready? Russ is like, yeah, I'm ready to go. In fact, on the flight over here, I spent the first 2 hours breaking down all the game film from all year, looking at the different cuts, right? Looking at things I could do better on tape. And I'm like, all right, that's a good start, right? That's easy enough to do. As long as Tom Brady doesn't touch it, tablets are available pretty readily for NFL players. So game film, 2 hours. That's great. Then he said the rest of the time I was getting my workout in. On an airplane?
I'm guessing. I mean, are they flying on a charter or are they flying?
Oh, yeah, it's chartered, but it's still an airplane. Like, even on Air Force One, you got limited room on a metal tube in the sky.
I've never been on a plane, nor shall I ever. But on Wedding Singer, there was plenty of room in first class. And Adam Sandler and Billy Idol are not going to lie. There was room back there to do some exercise.
Billy Idol is better than that. I will tell you, as somebody who has flown on a plane, and in a nod to Lonzo here, in first class. Obviously.
Of course.
Obviously.
Is there, if there's a class above first class?
I'd be in that
yeah,
one.
because 1%er.
Yeah, the only thing I had, the only place I haven't flown is in the cockpit, and that's frankly just because I don't want to work, right? Anyway, as somebody who's flown many times and on first class, even in first class, there's not that much room, okay? There's just not that much room on an airplane. So what
maybe you had a shake weight.
No, it's better than that. What was Russ doing for 4 hours on an airplane while the rest of his teammates were trying to get the R&R, were trying to get in the sleep so they weren't jet lagged as hell when they got to London? It was time to start practicing. Russell.
Listening to Sierra.
Oh, no, it's more annoying than that. Russell was running up and down the aisle doing high knees and workouts up and down the aisle while the rest of his teammates were trying to get some R&R before they landed in London.
Do you believe that? I'm not buying it.
You don't think for a second
I am not buying
that
it.
Russell Wilson is big enough of a dork that he wasn't like.
I'm not. People have decided to turn on Russell Wilson, and which I think is funny and sad all at the same time. They've decided to turn on him, and I don't believe this. I don't. It's a work.
Russell said this.
It's a work. It's a work.
I'm going to say this. I have always thought Russell Wilson was kind of a dork. Doesn't mean I don't like him. I really liked Russell Wilson at Seattle. Really liked him. In fact, when Lonzo calls out the folks who were supporting Russell and saying, oh, Denver's got it now, that was me. It was literally this guy. I'm like, oh, they got Russell. Denver's an AFC dark horse. Nope. They're dead last in that division at 2-5, behind even the Raiders at this point. That was me. I like Russ. I think Russ is a good quarterback. I think he's a guy I would hang out with, except he's just a dork, right? And that's okay. I'm a dork too.
According to reports, you wouldn't be able to hang out with him because you'd have to schedule it with his appointment manager.
That's probably true. That's probably correct. Russ is a dork. All right. There's something wrong with that.
All the memes of him supposedly working out on all these different things are pretty funny, though.
Yeah.
They're everywhere right
He's
now.
a memeable guy, right? So Russ is doing high knees up and down the aisle of the charter flight while his teammates are trying to get some shut-eye on their way to London. I'm going to tell you right now, I would have been 0% surprised if the injury report rolled out today that said Russell Wilson out, cause of injury, friendly fire.
All right, I need clarification here. Would you consider high knees exercise?
I mean, if you had a hammy injury, yeah.
I mean, so you would consider, if you don't think they're exercise during the break, let's see you do some high knees for.
First off, no. Second off, I am not making fun of a dude.
All right, the reason why I'm asking, because I know what high knees are, but I've never actually been on a plane.
Right.
Is there room Through the middle of the, you can't do high knees up through there.
Even if there was.
Because it seems to me if there's room to walk, there's room to do a high knee. I'm just saying.
Even if there was. There's not. Airplane aisles are about yay
That's
wide.
room enough to do he's a slight of
Not
build.
if there are people sleeping. Could you imagine? You lay your sweet head down to go to bed tonight, right? Lonzo's tucked. He's out. He's ready to get the Z's, ready to hit the shut eye. And then you just hear.
By the way, I do hear that because, and I'm not joking, and I'm not trying to ruin this, but there are things that crawl across our roof in the middle of the night. It might be possums, it might be raccoons, it could be a screech of an owl, but I do hear that, especially this time of the year because of the squirrels and the acorn tree, which is right above our house.
You don't have an animal the size of an NFL quarterback doing high knees in your ears at night.
Dude, come hang out.
You don't.
Come hang out at my house sometime and to sit there and be really quiet and hear something crawl across the roof.
Okay. I know you haven't been on a plane. Let me explain this to you. Let me explain why this is a problem. Okay.
You don't have to do it angrily. I mean, you're going to break something.
I do. Because you're comparing.
You're making my Velcroed camera move. And we put that Velcro on there so you couldn't do that.
You're comparing squirrels in your roof to a full-grown ass man
They're pretty
doing
fat
high
squirrels,
knees
by
in
the
your
way.
ear. Let me tell you how this works. On an airplane, you have about this much room to operate. And you know what's on both sides of that? Literally the seat. And on top of that, on an airplane, underneath where the passengers sit in an airplane, it's hollow. That's where the bags go, right? So the floor is not solid like this. It's hollow like that, which means that for a couple of hours, all these dudes had was their quarterback who didn't play last week on a 2-5 team while they're trying to get some sleep on the plane going in their ear. I would fist fight Russell Wilson myself. Russ, let's go get that dub on Sunday. But before we do, strap on the boxing gloves, pal. I hope that you are tuckered out from your high knees because that's crap and I'm going to fist fight you now.
You think you get more of a workout doing high knees while you're in the air because of the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know.
Curious.
Ask Russ. Here's what I do know.
You're the science guy. I thought you would know that.
I mean, I'm sure you do. It's a thinner out, but they pressurize the cabin and they pump oxygen in, so I don't know.
See, there again.
I
Part
of science is saying you don't know something.
That's true.
It is, but part of science is saying you don't know something. Here's what I will say. I've been on red-eye flights before. A lot of them, right? Sometimes it is just easier and cheaper to fly out at 4:35 in the morning on a red-eye than it is to catch a flight later in the day. I have been on red-eye flights where there's always that dude where you go to take off, you get in the air. For whatever reason, they're like, let me open the window, right? Everybody in there is trying to lay their 3 degrees of inclined seat back and catch another few minutes of sleep before they get to their destination and the day truly begins. Everybody's trying to get that last little nod off before they got to do whatever they got to do on vacation or on work or whatever. And then there's that one guy who's like, let me list the window. I forgot what the sun looks like. And they flood the cabin with light. You're like, dude, I promise you it looks the same every time. It's a sky. It's a cloud. It just looks like a cloud, except it's under you instead of above you. It's the same thing. It's a cloud. Put the window down. I'm trying to sleep. You got 30,000 lumens of light coming in through the window.
Really? Because
yes.
I mean, I won't go on a plane because I don't want to die. But if I were on a plane and I wouldn't die, I'd want to look out the window and see the clouds. I think it would be kind of
4:30 in the morning.
What? The sun's still up there? Why not?
Ugh. Point is, I'd fight him myself. All right. Russ, dude, I am in your corner. I want you to be good. This ain't it, Chief. You're supposed to be building the team more close together, not ripping them apart at the seams. And that's a good way to do that. All right, let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, I did almost forget. Lonzo can thank Steven.
It's not happening in the next because he did forget what day it is. So it's not happening
That's
in the
right.
next
It's
segment.
Thursday. You know what that means. It's on my run sheet. It is.
I mean, it's your show.
Interview Fight Club.
If you want to skip it, we can skip it.
No,
I mean,
I don't want to skip Fight Club.
It's been skipped before.
It's one of my favorite segments of the week. So Fight Club, and then before Twitter trending topics, Lonzo will draw punishment out of the boo box, or he'll do it on the air or on the stream after we go off the air. I don't know, but it'll happen at some point. Back after this, it's Thursday. You know what that means. Time for Fight Club with Lonzo. Your home for all things combat sports, boxing, MMA, pro wrestling. It's next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
My world.
Be right back. Stream, don't go anywhere.
All right, Steven. Why, dude? Why you want to do that to me for? You know, it's not my fault if he doesn't remember. It's not everyone else's job to be his memory. Why are you doing this to me? I'm hurt. I really am. I'm near tears. And unless he brings it back right now, he's still not going to remember. So stop it.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you
Sorry for moving the camera.
We have one transparent management fee structured so you can benefit from our clients.
It's Velcro so strong even Diesel can't move the camera, but Rob can. I think you're thinking of it wrong, but okay. So you didn't make it to the end of Dynamite, right? Well, gonna have to spoil because there's something that I need to talk about. Something significant.
I know everything that's happening.
Something that's significant that happened at the end of the show. We'll see if we can do this segment and I'll interrupt myself.
Rude.
No, right? So the bots came and went again today.
Yep, sure did.
It is weird that we've had a couple of days when they weren't here. Welcome into the Fight Club, where we high step into your car and you can't do anything about it.
Fight me, bro.
That's right. That's what we do on the Fight Club. And I want to apologize for those watching on the stream. I'm going to have to look up at the screen because I'm old school and I like to print my stuff out, but I had technical difficulties at the beginning of the show and was not able to do that. I want to talk about something. I don't even know if Rob noticed this, but I think he was to the point in Dynamite that maybe he saw this. Not only were the Elite mentioned on the show, they were erased.
Yeah.
On the show. It was an erased promo. What do you think that means?
They got Thanos, man, right off of their own show.
What do you think that is? That a rail against management? We know they're coming back because they mentioned them and now we've actually seen them for a moment before they were erased. Didn't see that other guy though. Haven't heard tell of that other guy.
No, that other guy's gone.
Yeah.
He's good as gone at this point. What does it mean? I don't know is the answer. I suspect you have them come back, all three of them, Omega included, because they did it to him in that same promo. I suspect you're having them all come back probably as heels, and you have them you probably have them as a we started this is ours. All of you got famous off of our hard work and our backs, and we're here to take this thing back over and even be anti-Tony Khan, right?
Yeah,
Tony did this too. We're coming to blow up his product and win everything and set him up as heels.
But not the over-the-top heels that they've been where they're like overly flamboyant and all that stuff, but actually angry heels there to disrupt and maybe like early NWO style.
I mean, maybe you do kind of like an inside invasion angle, right? But I still think, I think you have Omega go back to being Sideburns Omega, which was a great heel run. But I think you have the Young, because the thing is, most people who like the Young Bucks always like them because of that kind of over the top, flamboyant, ridiculous, we're better than you kind of angle, even when they're faces. I think you do it, but you turn it from them pointing that at other wrestlers to them pointing it to the fans, right? Like, we're the bad guys to them now. Like, they are anti-us at this point, and that's how you push them over as heels. And then the other thing that does is it opens the door if there more are, and there have been rumors that there may be another couple of acquisitions coming in soon. You have the ability to set up a new acquisition as a massive babyface to be the ones that run up against them. But I think you turn them into a scripted, planned version of what CM Punk actually was.
All right. So the one thing I disagree with you the most about is I don't think they come in over the top. I think they come in as real as possible. This is really us. We're ticked off, and this place shouldn't exist without us, and it's not going to exist the way it does while we're still here, and be the disruption that they supposedly were in the locker room that got, all the problems in the first place. Just come out and be those violent guys. What the Blackpool Comedy Club, the Blackpool Combat Club is supposed to be, except for just completely disruptive. I mean, not only in the ring, but on the announce team, all that kind of stuff. I want to see that. I would love to see a repeat of the NWO, except done better this time.
The only fear that I have with that is, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, right? There are guys like Matt Hardy who can change his character 3 times a year and every one of them gets over. And then there are guys who change their gimmick and then they just disappear, right? Like it doesn't catch on, and you either have to script a reason for them to go back to their old gimmick, or you just write them off. They're just done. Like that career, this run in this business is over. I don't want that to happen to them, because they are very good. They are really talented and really entertaining guys. I think you can keep the same gimmick, but just turn the direction of it. Either way, I think when they come back, they paint Tony. They're like, this is Tony's fault, right? If Tony would have reined in that other guy, if Tony would have this, if Tony would have that, we started it, and thanks to Tony for funding it, but now he's ruining this thing we did, and blame AEW fans for that, right? And I think all of a sudden you've got massive heel heat against 2 guys that don't have to learn a whole new gimmick. They can still be them, just point it somewhere else.
All right. So also last night, there's something, have you ever got Rob multiple times by the same person? Oh, they got me again. That type of thing. I'm curious, is MJF doing it again? Because he's done this several times. He went big time babyface last night to a degree, especially compared to what he normally is when he was talking to Renee, and the crowd is loving him all of a sudden instead of booing him. At the end of the day, Moxley wins, but is getting beat up by the Firm, and MJF fired the Firm. And then he tries to decide, should I go down there and help him? Should I go down and help him? And he goes backstage, then he comes back out to help, and he gets the mess beat out of him. Are you buying the MJF turn, or is this all a plan for him to look legit, and then the Firm helps him and he beats Moxley?
There's, listen, sometimes even when something is repeated over and over, it still works, right? Like
it's all about the players. If
Right.
you're good enough, and he's good enough to do it.
Right. I don't read as much as I used to, but I used to read fantasy novels, right? Like Lord of the Rings. I used to read them all. If you really think about it, Star Wars, they're all the same plot. They're all the exact same plot. But you change the characters, you change the scenery, you change the technology, you change the natural world.
Speaking of which,
them.
you still haven't watched Top Gun, and it's basically the plot of
Top Gun.
of A New Hope.
Okay, fair enough, right? Like, and I think, heck, even in Star Wars, the next trilogy was just a repeat of the original trilogy with different characters playing the roles, right? But it works. It works because a good story is a good story, no matter what details you change, as long as the story is good. Every time MJF does this and then runs it back, we get hooked up. We've literally had this conversation 3 times about the same character, and it works. It works because it's a great story, and it when it makes you feel something.
What if he really turns this time, though? What if he really becomes a babyface?
I'd be interested, because the MJF
he'd be more of a tweener, but still.
It does, to me. Here's what's interesting about it. Here's what I like about MJF, the character right now. because MJF, the character, as a true bad guy, was built by stuff that all of us have gone through to some degree, some more than others, but all of us have gone through, right? He's talked about being told he's not good enough. He can't do this. He's talked about being bullied and beat up. He's talked about having these heroes that broke his heart down the line. All of us have experienced that, maybe at different levels, but all of us have been there. The difference is that he allowed it to, if you'll pardon it, turn to the dark side, whereas most of us have had to truck on and keep being good people and responsible to the best of our ability. And he ended up getting paid millions of dollars for it, right? Whereas most of us don't. We just have to suffer that and still be a good person to go make a pittance compared to what he makes. That's what makes that character so great. But if you turn that babyface or even tweener, like, how does it work? My name's Maxwell Joseph. My name's MGF. And I'm just as good as you, but in different ways. Like, it's not the same. It's not the same. There are some guys who are just meant to be what they are. MJF's in that role. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of great actors who are typecast into one type of role, and they make an incredible career out of it, right? William Dafoe has been typecast as what? The mentally unstable but eccentric anti-hero in pretty much every movie he's ever. Steve Buscemi is the crazy guy in a fun-loving crew at every role. And we love them every single time because it works for them. I understand most wrestlers flip back and forth. MJF's a heel. He can be a heel that you like sometimes. We all got somebody in our life who's kind of a jackass, but we like him anyway. Everybody else hates him, but we're like, yeah, but he's my friend. Like, in a weird way. I know I shouldn't, but I like that guy. That's what he is. And he is the best in the world at it. Why would you dump a gold mine? Because, and again, this is something I've harped on since the beginning of AEW. That's what's supposed to happen. No, I don't. It's not how the world works for me.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Either way, I'm okay with it. If he gets everybody again, I'm going to think it's funny. If he actually makes a turn, it's going to be different. And I can't wait to see what it is. Even though Jon Moxley is my favorite wrestler today, I kind of want to see MJF get the title just to see what they do with it.
I mean, listen, the guy is like, and I love that he mentions it, right? When he's like, now, let me say my catchphrase that's so over right now. And it's like, dude, he's right. The worst thing about somebody you don't like, about a bad guy, whether it's in wrestling or real life, the worst thing in the world and the best thing in wrestling, but the worst thing in the world is when there's somebody you don't like, somebody you can't stand, and they have a point, right? And they're right. It drives me crazy. We've all had that. It's like, and I love watching it happen nowadays in like politics where everybody's so damn polarized. When somebody from one side says something that resonates to the other side, and you're like, oh crap, the guy I hate just made a point that I really like. Right? And watching people try to rectify that in their brain. How can he say a thing that I agree with when I hate him all the time? That's what makes this character so damn good. He's correct about everything he's saying. He's just taking it to an extreme. How many times have I told you the best bad guys in movies? The guys that are right, but go too far with it. That's why The Rock is so damn good. You agree with the bad guys in The Rock. I'm talking about the movie, not the wrestler. You agree with the bad guys in The Rock. They're right. They have a point. And their reasoning for going too far is understandable to a normal person. But then they try to nuke San Francisco. Not great.
All right. While I jumped over to the WWE, you need to look at the stream and block somebody.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Some advertising that needs to be gone. All right. So let's jump over to another character that
Trey said MJF should just hire Virgil.
Yeah, he should. He should. So let's jump over to WWE and Bray Wyatt. I don't know if you saw the promo from Friday.
I did.
Yeah. I go where the circle tells me. What do you think about that? Do you? The other thing from a production standpoint, do you like the song that's building up underneath him while he's doing the entire promo?
Nah, it's too distracting.
Yeah, I thought it was distracting. That's what I want to know if you thought the same thing. Is it because it's too loud or okay?
I really liked it.
Yeah,
it was just and I get why music is.
And I wonder if he heard it and was trying to match the cadence of it with his promo. I couldn't tell.
Music is such an incredibly powerful storytelling tool, right? Like I really want you to go back. Like think about the movie Jaws, right? And I want you to take that out of it. There's no more tension in that scene, right? It's just a shark fin coming out of the water, even if it's a giant, but it's the music that tells you should be scared or you should be happy or you should be energetic. There is a YouTube channel that I find hilarious where they do that. They go find classic movie clips though, and they take the music out of the background. And it's just awkward as hell. Like great movie scenes that are just awkward. How intimidating is Darth Vader without the Imperial March behind him? Not as much, right? But it can also go too far. It can also get to the point where it's distracting. And I think they did that. That being said, I'm a mystery guy, right? I don't like scary movies though, but I do like psychological movies. I don't like scary movies, jump scare movies, but I like thrillers. I like movies that make you think. I like I'm the weird guy who watches murder documentaries late at night because there's a mystery. Right? I love outer space because it's mysterious. I watched a 2-hour Yellowstone super volcano documentary instead of going to sleep last night because it intrigues me because we don't know what the hell's going to happen with this thing. And mystery is fun to me. Not knowing what this dude's been back for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, but how long do you do this before you actually see him in a ring or see him do something?
I have watched movies. You know, the best part of B-monster movies is what? The reveal of the monster, right? Did you watch Bird Box? Bird Box was a psychological thriller about these monsters that when you see them, you go insane and it drives you to suicide. That's the whole premise of the movie, right? And so you gotta go through the world with your eyes closed, which is it was dumb, but I literally watched
I don't think that was the name of the movie.
Bird Box, yeah, it was Sandra Bullock on Netflix.
Yeah, but I don't think it was Bird Box.
It was Bird Box. I literally looked at it last night. That's why it's on the top of my brain. Bird Box was interesting. And I was reading about it, but I watched it, even though I don't like jump scare movies. I watched it. You know why? Because I wanted to see the monster. No other reason. Cloverfield. Best part of Cloverfield is when you get the reveal.
By the way. I apologize.
Best part of Cloverfield is when you see the monster for the first time.
Oh no, Cloverfield was rough though.
I loved Cloverfield.
Yeah, that was so rough.
The reveal is great, but the best part about Cloverfield is you're like 80% of the movie before you actually see the monster for the first time, right? You keep seeing the interaction, you hear it, you see the destruction.
You do see the little things.
Absolutely, and those were terrifying too. Yeah. But even with those things killing people, you're 80% of the way through the movie before you see the monster. I loved heightened tension. I love mystery. And to have Bray cutting these promos that, like the first one he did on SmackDown 2 weeks ago was so great because he's like, I'm going to talk to y'all as me, as Bray Wyatt, as not a character. But then to have him interrupted by himself, oh, so good. So good because there's a mystery there that I want to know the answer to, but I'm not in charge of when or if I found out. That's a great movie. I'm here for it.
There also has to be really good timing between him and the production department to know exactly when to play it and all that kind of stuff. So from behind the scenes, it's really cool. All right. Biggie was trending a little bit earlier. I don't have him on Twitter trending topics because I want to talk about why he was trending. So Biggie, the entire New Day went to the Wakanda Forever premiere, but they were not alone. With them was one of the Usos.
Sami Zayn!
No. Oh. One of the Usos and his wife, Naomi. And Sasha Banks.
Yeah, but that's Hollywood, dude.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, that's what bringing so many people back. Do you think that's just we're just a step away from those women returning to?
No, I absolutely do. I think Triple H bringing back the Vince cast-offs has worked spectacularly well, right? Like even Karrion Kross, a guy that I did not care even a little bit about.
We don't get enough of them though, which I guess is kind of all right.
It's kind of all right, but also like the feud started really, really hot, and like now it's kind of like, and mainly because not that you buried McIntyre, but like you kind of disappeared him a little bit. So it's like, why this doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to me. But H bringing those guys back. And there's two things going on. Number one, Sasha Banks has grown into a bona fide star, both in and
she's not a bad Mandalorian. I liked her in that.
She's grown into a bona fide star, and you want that on the roster. But number two, the other thing is, and you better believe that while they are playing nice on the surface right now, there's absolutely competition between them and AEW to make sure. If AEW was to get Sasha Banks, that would be the biggest coup that either company's had since Cody went back to WWE. Neither side wants to let it happen, but H has got the up because all of Sasha's buddies are still in WWE. None of them have moved over. So, yes, they are. I got no doubt they're on the way back, but it's not because of this. Those are all Hollywood celebrities at this point. So them hanging out together away from wrestling isn't really something that is a trigger for me.
All right, 2 more things I want to mention before we go to break. Nikki Cross returns as Crazy Nikki, not the superhero. I love Crazy Nikki.
No,
I love Crazy Nikki.
So do I. Go back to NXT Crazy Nikki.
Yes.
Why do you have Crazy Nikki showed up, but she's all glammed up?
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't like
super
the
well-done
makeup. I did not like the
Like,
makeup.
If you're gonna give me Crazy Nikki, give me Crazy Nikki. I literally said to you 2 days ago, I'm like, can we stop? Like, even H has fallen into it. Can we stop where every story in women's wrestling eventually evolves into so-and-so's crazy, so-and-so snapped? We did it with Liv. We've done it with Ronda. We did it with Charlotte. We did it with we've done it with every female wrestler who has made an impact.
Except for Nikki started out that way.
And I agree. And she also, when she was with Sanity, did it better than anybody else. If you want to let her bring back that gimmick because it was her OG gimmick and it was so good, I'm 100% fine with that. But why are you having her roll into the ring dressed up like a supermodel? Now, if there comes a storyline reason for that, fantastic. I'm here as long as it's good. But if it's like, I'm crazy, but I also like to be pretty. Well, you're just doing the same thing you've done with everybody else. Tell a different story. That's part of what holds women's wrestling back from being able to main event, as they've already shown they can do when the story is not so-and-so's crazy or so-and-so stole my boyfriend, as it's been for 50 years.
I did like the move to make it look like she might be joining Damage Control, and then she beat everybody up in Damage Control also.
And again, that may have been the reason.
She
right?
is one of my favorite people to see live. Saw her in Spartanburg when NXT came to Spartanburg, and that place went crazy when she came out. And she was crazy, and I loved it. All right, last thing before we go to break. Jake Paul showed up to a workout riding a horse.
Oh, is the segment not over yet? Is the segment not over? Are we done? Are we not
Did
done?
I mention he was riding a horse? I don't know why. I don't know why. He rode a horse to his workout.
So that people like you and me would talk about it. Mission accomplished.
I'm just mentioning it because I knew you would love it.
I bet the horse would win in a boxing match. If they actually
Not
boxed.
if they had,
Can't wait till
had terms agreed upon before the actual match.
Can't wait until Anderson Silva gets paid $3 million to take a dive. It's gonna be awesome.
There are some supposed lawsuits, I believe, from referees.
Well,
but
that's unrelated to his fight.
Is it?
Yeah. He accused some other referee of
Okay.
throwing some other fight, and that guy's suing him for libel.
All right,
Don't
so
get me wrong.
the headlines make it look like it was for the fights that he was. Okay, all right. They
I mean, I
didn't.
could be wrong, but that's the understanding I had of it. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, 2 things happen. Number 1, Lonzo draws from the boo box to find out what his punishment is. I'm going to give him a grace period because I forgot till next Friday to finish this one. And then Twitter trending topics to wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
Again, I'm blaming you, Steven. I want you to know I'm blaming you. And I don't think you understand how this works. I think you thought it was just the picks, but no, it's not. It's me picking my punishment.
Catch every Carolina Panthers game live on Classic Rock 101.1. Download the Odyssey app and search for Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders and
Need to come up with some more punishments.
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Sports Radio.
You're not sorry, Steven. You're not.
If you work remote, Staples has you covered.
Stylish office decor to turn my finished basement into a complete workspace solution.
Staples has you covered.
A desk that's all business, but not too businessy.
Staples has you covered with remote workspace solutions. And now at Staples, save 25% on all desks, storage and filing products, chair mats, lighting, decor, and desk accessories when you buy a chair. Explore solutions for your remote work at Staples. The working and learning store ends 10/29 and store only exclusions apply.
This feature is sponsored by Indeed. As the leads change, leave the hiring to Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes come from the 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed and performance, personalized content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, and increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, visit your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world, turning to the best in the business for websites. Go to
Did you see the Quantum Mania trailer yet?
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's why Bill Murray was trending.
We actually talked about it on Twitter trending topics. And
I know, that's what I said. Like,
okay,
that's why
all right.
I was like, oh, that's why Murray was trending on Twitter trending topics, I guess is what I meant.
All right.
Irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness. This is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Mr. Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This afternoon, periods of clouds and sun with a high of 74.
I didn't even notice when that movie's coming out, though. It's not till next year. Is it February?
It's like February.
That is next
17th,
year.
I think.
It seems like that's a long
So
ways
far
away, but it's not. It's just a couple months.
All right, before we get to Twitter trending topics, it is time to go to the Boo Box. Lonzo had his best week of picks last week. Lonzo went 7-3 last week. Unfortunately for Lonzo, I also had my best week of picks last week and went 8-2, including a perfect 5-0 against the spread in college ball. That brings the records this year. Rob is 42-28. Lonzo is 33-37. Another 7-3 week, Lonzo, would bring you back to 500. But unfortunately, that does mean Lonzo has to draw from the Boo Box. Now, he did not draw last week, mainly because I felt terrible for Lonzo because he spent 3 days feeling like crap. And then on day 3, had the windshield of his 1%er whip crack on him and had to take care of that little issue as well. So that was his punishment for his picks last week. But he does go back in the boo box now. That being said, Lonzo does have a birthday exemption that I gave to him a couple of weeks back, where if he draws a punishment he does not like, he can skip it, but it does go back into the box and remain an option should he lose again and have to go back into the boo box. The New Day Budios boo box has remained sealed since 3 weeks ago.
It's been longer than that. I will say that you're taking way too long. We only have so much time.
Hey, we got like 3 minutes.
I just wanna,
Twitter Trending Topics can hang out till tomorrow.
I also want to point out that my son thinks it's funny. My daughter rolls her eyes. My wife is upset about this. And she keeps asking me, why can't you do better? Why do you do this?
Miss Lisa is ruthless.
No. I'm embarrassing her. Okay. Embarrassing the kids. They're used to that. But I don't like embarrassing her. So there's added pressure to where I've been trying everything. It has nothing to do with losing to Rob. It has nothing to do with me being embarrassed on the air. It has to do with me embarrassing my wife, which I don't like doing.
To the boo box goes Lonzo. There are some good punishments left. He is drawn this week, and it is the birthday exemption. What was it?
Michigan.
Okay. Not even a moment of hesitation for Lonzo. He draws the wear a Michigan shirt on the air, and without a second of thought, dropped it before I even saw it right back into the boo box.
By the way, if it would have been Tom Brady, I would have wore that because I've been wearing the jersey of a loser.
Fair enough.
And I'd have been okay with that. But the Michigan, no. From the moment the exemption was given to me,
you knew that was the one.
That was the one.
That was the one.
Yes.
The wear a Michigan shirt on the stream comes out to noted Ohio State University fan, the great one, and without a moment hesitation, drops it right back into the boo box. So
I will also tell you if that exemption would have been around when the Clemson thing.
Would have used it for that?
No.
Just for Michigan.
Just for Michigan.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, the punishment is off for a week. However, the Michigan t-shirt is back in the boo box. The Michigan t-shirt is still available for a punishment should Lonzo drop another week. Is that the one that'll make you quit this game?
Yes.
Thought so. All right. We make our boo box picks tomorrow. And Lonzo's happy birthday exemption has been utilized. So no more get out of jail free cards for the great one. Let's take a break for 21 hours. We'll come back and do it again tomorrow. Guys, the USC logo is fine. It's nice. It doesn't look anything like USC's. It's different colors. It's a different font. It's a different look. Can we stop talking about it? It's fine. Nobody outside of South Carolina hates it. That's all that matters. Or who cares? You know what I mean? All right, that's it. He's the great one. My name's Rob Brown. We're back tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. You do have a knack for pulling out the ones you hate the most.
There's not really that many in there. I mean, other than Michigan and Tom Brady, I have no idea what else is in there. So, I mean, I don't.
I only remember one other one.
See, you don't remember either.
It's been a while. All right, let's see what's in here still. Oh, the first one I picked was wear a Michigan shirt. Eat a spoonful of Vegemites on there.
I'm okay with that. Not really, but
the ice bucket challenge is in there,
which is not happening because it's stupid. It's just dumb.
The Hulk Hogan beard is in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do that, but
the watch and review a full season of Big Bang Theory. Oh, wait a minute, that's mine. Why is that in there? Eat a jar of Duke's mayo during the show is in there. Wear a Brady shirt on the stream is in there. You knew that. Finish a bottle of maple syrup over the course of a show is in there. And can of Skyline chili. That was mine too. Why are mine in there?
Yeah, why are yours in there?
I don't know. Probably because I haven't actually had to make mine yet.
Let's rub it in, mister.
Honestly, you should have had me this week. I just had a run. Bad luck. All right, guys. Thank you.